Happy Saturday, everybody.
Yeah, I hope you guys like that new intro that Boomer cooked up.
I was sitting at work and I was like, hey, I got some stuff to do, but I was on break and I was like,
Of
I'm
course,
gonna
you're on break.
exactly. I was like, gonna do a logo for Spoonie and I. So now you see Spoonie as cartoon characters.
So lot to talk about. We were going to talk about the upcoming Fantastic Four movie, but I think considering the passing of Julian McMahon, it's probably something to touch on anyways.
Yeah,
Obviously, he played. Was it in both movies?
I believe.
The both
Yeah,
like Rise of the Silver Surfer and the first one.
yeah, he was in the first one and the Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Okay. Well, so obviously he's got a connection to the franchise, and I mean, what with them leaning heavily into multiverse stuff nowadays, there was a potential maybe we could have seen him come back as Doctor Doom, but unfortunately that's off the table now.
Yeah.
And I think you said it was cancer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Hopefully, I didn't hear about it. Hopefully it was a private battle. I think most people probably want to keep it that way. So, anyways, he will be missed, obviously. Yeah. And you were telling me a couple other notable figures passed recently.
Yeah, well, I think it's been a couple of months now. I mean, we're both Batman fans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we didn't even get to touch on it in the last couple of streams of Val Kilmer passing away this year. And I think him too was cancer as well. So.
And he was having somewhat of a career comeback recently over the last couple of years, wasn't he?
A little bit, yeah. I think he was in the recent Top Gun movie. I think he was back as. I've never seen Top Gun, so was he Goose or was he Maverick? People who later on watched the stream.
Wasn't he Iceman or?
Oh, was he Iceman? Okay.
It's been a while, and I never saw the sequel.
Yeah, so he passed on. That's pretty sad. And then a couple of days ago, Michael Madsen, who's famous for the Tarantino movies, Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill, he's even in Sin City.
Yeah, he's been in a ton of stuff.
2025, man. It's been hectic this year with people passing away. It's insane.
Yep. No, it's unfortunate, but it's going to happen to all of us at some point. So that's why we need to get out and see entertaining diversions like Fantastic Four First Steps.
Or the fate of my existence, Superman. Okay, I always say it. I rag on Superman. Guys, Spoonie's favorite is Superman, and it doesn't bother me. I like to playfully rag, but you know what the thing is I've said to you many times, there are Superman stories out there that I do kind of like it.
The problem I have with Superman in trying to recommend it to anybody is that there's not really a definitive Superman story.
Yeah.
The death and return and reign of the Superman thing obviously is a very iconic story and has been in reprint since it came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
But it's not really that good or that interesting. I think the most interesting thing is the introduction of the new Superboy, who is the clone.
Yeah.
And then the Cyborg Superman and all those other, the Eradicator, and of course Steel.
My guy.
Probably him and Superboy a little bit had a higher profile, especially when they stuck him on Teen Titans.
Yeah.
But Steel is basically like DC's Iron Man, if you're looking for a basic comparison. So awesome character. And but it's not like I can like where off the top of your head you could be like, okay, Long Halloween, Gotham by Gaslight, there's a ton, a bunch of the Scott just the Court of Owls alone. There's Batman, there's tons of arcs.
I think that whole 52 run by Capullo and Snyder was just hit after hit after hit after hit with the stories. So it's
Superman, I thought the best part of it was because at one point during the 90s, it was being published weekly. Like literally every month there was a new book. And they actually had these little triangles on the cover that had a number on it to show like the order to read them in.
Wow.
Now you could follow each book individually, but there were 52 issues a year plus whatever annuals and stuff. And the great thing I thought about that era was seeing the development of the characters and stuff like that, Superman's supporting cast. Because when you've got a guy that's basically like invincible, depending on how you're writing him, the greatest threat is to the people he cares about.
Yeah.
And they really, they created such a rich, ensemble cast for him. So many of them, especially created during that era, have gone. I'm pretty sure that's when they created Cat Grant, who obviously, if any of you guys seen the Supergirl show from the CW, that was Callista Flockhart. She was kind of like the boss. She's been in other media as well.
I'm mad at Netflix about that, by the way.
No, so it's kind of the ongoing stories of these characters.
Yeah.
Like my favorite personal story would probably, it's called The Death of Clark Kent.
Okay.
And to just put it into like a 2-sentence thing, this guy has had a rivalry with Clark Kent since childhood, found out that he's Superman and lost it, and what he decided to do was not try to kill Superman, but kill Clark Kent, so that he could never return to that life, that the people he cared about would be like in danger, or he'd have to completely abandon them to keep them out of harm. So it was more interesting than just trying to kill Superman. But unfortunately, they created this great character, and he died by the end of the arc. And as far as I know, nobody brought him back. His name was Conduit.
Yeah. Right.
I think they made a toy about him.
I've heard about it.
I think they made a toy of him, but he didn't really do too much.
I gotta Google that. Conduit.
Basically,
by the way, hello, Vanessa.
Hey. Yeah, so I guess I might as well just explain it. So, Superman, everybody knows Superman came to Earth in the rocket from the exploding planet. When he crashed, some kryptonite and some radiation came with him. Now, at the same time his rocket arrived on Earth, there was a couple in a similar situation. They were on the road somewhere when that's the guy. When the woman went into labor, the radiation caused her to pass away, and the child was born really sickly. So growing up, the guy's dad hated him, kind of resented him for, you killed your mom just by being born. And he was really sick and everything because the kryptonite, and he made friends with Clark, but Clark was always kind of beating him at races and everything. And then later he finds out that Clark is Superman. He feels like he's been cheated his whole life. He feels like, this guy, he knew he had these powers, and he flaunted like he was just a normal guy, but he held this in my face, and he's everything I'm not. And so I want to destroy his life.
And that was Conduit right there.
Yeah. Yeah, he got a toy, but maybe he was in 2 arcs. I
mean, I feel like it's, maybe not in the 90s unless you were Star Wars. Now, if you're a character, even if you're a minor character, you'll get a toy.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Wars was notorious for that. Star Wars made a toy of freaking some guy who just walked onto the screen that you don't even know his name. Like Star Wars, Kenner was making toys of that. I mean, it looks cool, Conduit. I mean,
yeah. So because he was affected by kryptonite radiation. I guess he got this suit that allowed him to channel them, and he had these cables that he would try to latch around Superman, and I guess basically it's Omega Red.
You know what? That's what it sounds like.
Hey, I've got these lethal cables, and if I wrap them around you, you'll die. I mean, I know Omega Red had some kind of death spore or something he released, but
speaking of Omega Red, that's why I'm wearing my X-Men t-shirt today, because we're talking Fantastic Four, we're talking Superman, and I mean, you can't. I don't have a Superman t-shirt. I don't have a Fantastic Four t-shirt. I did eons ago Fantastic Four. But I mean, let's be honest here. One of the men that's most synonymous with drawing Superman and Fantastic Four is Jim Lee. So I was like, I gotta. I guess it's appropriate for today's live stream.
See, that's interesting, because if you had asked me, I would have said John Byrne.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because he for the first 3 years, he was basically running the Superman books after Crisis on Infinite Earths in 85, when DC decided, 50 years of continuity. Yeah. We're going to cut out the silly stuff. We're just going to condense it to the stuff people want. We're going to have a singular Earth, no multiverse. They did that for about 20 years before they started to bring back the multiverse. But so they wanted new origin for Superman. Obviously, the whole rocket from Krypton thing stayed the same. But in terms of how he grew up and the early years and stuff like that, where John Byrne created and flushed in a lot of that. And then once it was a series of it was 3 or 4 miniseries, 4 issues each. And then it started into proper ongoing series. And that stuff was great. And then, his Fantastic Four, that's when, if you guys haven't seen, Boomer recently played Fantastic Four for the PlayStation 1. And the She-Hulk is from the John Byrne era. Yeah. That was when the Thing retired. I don't know if he got married or... I don't know. He keeps breaking up with Alicia Masters, so it's really hard to tell what's going on with them at any given time.
They've made some questionable choices, though, in Fantastic Four. I'm not saying it's all great. Look at the 70s cartoon. They decided to replace the Human Torch with Herbie, who's apparently going to be in the new movie.
Well, because they were afraid kids were going to try to set themselves on fire?
I know, right?
People would have, though. I mean, look, we got, Tide Pod challenges and stuff now. People probably would have.
But you know what was clever, though? I don't know if you ever watched... Probably my favorite cartoon of Fantastic Four. This one's a great one. Mm-hmm. But Earth's Greatest Heroes from, I think it was maybe 20 years ago at this point.
Is that the anime one?
Yeah, the anime style one. Herbie is in it. But what I like about that is that Herbie is not a Fantastic Four member. Basically, Herbie is Richard's basically lab AI, which is pretty cool. I like that they integrated it that into that show.
Okay, well, since we're kind of touching on, other members of the Fantastic Four, who outside of the core 4 family members did you like seeing on the team? Now, that I can think of, we've seen Black Panther and Storm. Yeah. They took over for Mr. and Miss Fantastic after Civil War, and they needed to kind of save their marriage.
Yeah. I think if anybody watched my great comic book covers this past week, I think I showed up one of the covers with them on it. So, the initiative.
Yep. Who else? Spider-Man joined during the Jonathan Hickman Future Foundation.
Exactly. Wolverine, I think, was on the team at one point.
There was that Fantastic Four where I think the main team... I don't even know if it was a Fantastic Four book, but basically you had a one issue. It was the Hulk standing in for the Thing. It was Ghost Rider standing in for Human Torch, and then it was Wolverine and I forget who else.
Yeah.
But as more ongoing members. So you had Black Panther, Storm, you had Spider-Man, obviously She-Hulk. I can't really think of anybody outside of that.
No, I think those are really the ones that join mostly. And so for me, the crazy thing is you would think it would be Spider-Man because I love Spidey, but honestly, I love when She-Hulk is with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
I love She-Hulk as a character in general. I mean, I love Hulk, but She-Hulk is just cool because she's basically a female version of the Hulk, but she's also kind of like a Deadpool character where she breaks the fourth wall. Yeah. So I've always liked that with She-Hulk. So I always thought it was neat when She-Hulk was in the Fantastic Four, which is why again, going back to that shitty ass game, that's why I chose her play when I should not have done that.
Well, I think that's maybe why John Byrne put the character on the team, because I don't know the order of publication or whatever, but I know there were two eventually canceled She-Hulk series that John
Yeah.
Byrne had worked on. And I think the cover to the second volume was something like "Try to cancel this" or whatever. Like, obviously, the cover's making a fourth wall meta reference to the fact that the last series got canceled with like little notice in the middle of a storyline or something. And so I think John Byrne got tired of them keep canceling his characters. So he's like, okay, she's on the Fantastic Four now. Cancel that book. And it's, you know, I respect that. That was back in a day when a writer and the artist were often the same person.
Yeah.
It's very rare nowadays, mostly I think in indie books, that you see the same person who's like fully creating.
Like, for example, to the top of my head, I mean, I know there's a lot of them, but the top of my head that I think if they're notable, I mean, Scotty Young,
Yep.
right? Why am I forgetting his name? Who did Swamp Thing, New 52? He also did Sweet Tooth.
Oh, Jeff Lemire.
Jeff Lemire, thank you. He's another one too, I think, who does his artwork and writes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not often you see it, but those two are very like prominent, notable that write and I mean,
well, and
really
rest in peace to Darwin Cook.
Yeah.
He did both. He was fantastic. I don't know if you've read his Parker adaptations.
No,
I got the first one. He's adapting some. It's like a crime noir. It was a novel series. I think Sylvester Stallone tried to adapt it into a film at some point, but the movie didn't do well for whatever reason. It's worth
Really?
checking out. The books are really good.
I mean, are you? Get Carter. Is that
Yeah,
the one?
I think that was the movie that he made, but it was based off this Parker series.
Okay.
Anyways, that's getting way off
There's-
track there. Now we're talking about the Fantastic Four, and so you like She-Hulk as your favorite sort of alt member.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm a little more familiar with the characters. I love Storm. So the Black Panther Storm thing was, I thought, really awesome because it was during the period when the characters were married.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not going to last because Storm is too good of a character for the X books to lose, and likewise, Black Panther is too good of a character to just be a supporting player in an X-Men book.
Yeah.
So unless they had their own monthly, Fantastic Four is kind of the only way that marriage is going to work. And that's also around the time we got the Marvel Zombies stuff going on.
Yeah,
And their Fantastic Four run contributed to the overall Marvel Zombie story, which I thought was cool. It also carried over, I think, into Ultimate Fantastic Four. Or it started there, or it bounced around a lot.
Yeah. We're gonna get new Marvel Zombies now with Fantastic Four leading the way. So.
Well, even as we talk about this, I'm remembering, because I have the hardcover, there was a Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness, like the Sam Raimi Bruce Campbell series. Yeah. And I imagine, you know, out of print for a while now. But that was published by Dynamite. And I hear that they are going out of business now.
Dynamite?
Yeah, apparently this Diamond Comics closure is really hitting a lot of publishers, and I don't know the details. I just saw a thumbnail scrolling through YouTube saying like Dynamite's next, and it's just like, ah, geez.
I guess that means no free comic book day next year.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Anyways, you know, there was a couple of things I wanted to touch on before we started speaking. By the way, we went right into it, which I love. I was going to ask you what you've like what we always do, what you've watched, what you've read, what you've played recently. I forgot to ask you that at the beginning, and then I want to touch on something we talked about last video very quickly. That Dua Lupe. Do you remember that? We were watching her video with the. You're like, hey, who's holding the camera on her?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to tell you that that's 100% confirmed as fake. It's not real. I took a look deeper into her TikTok.
Yeah.
And she dresses herself up as the demon ghoul and dances around. So I'm like, okay, this. So yeah, I wanted to tell you that, by the way.
Well, I'm not too surprised on that one. So, like I said, I think everybody gets caught up into it, and you see like, oh my god. But then, if you take a second and ask some basic questions, sometimes it'll fall apart, and
Yeah,
that's usually because it's a hoax.
yeah, and that's exactly what that was.
It's like, who's holding the camera? Was that creepy music actually playing, or did they add that in post? Like that. I don't know. It's. I'm not surprised about that one.
You want to tell them that we're going to be working on another one of those videos? We'll probably do a live stream again of that
Yeah,
down
well,
the road.
I mean, you kind of just did, but
Fair enough. it's we like running your mouth, bro. But yeah, we're gonna be working on a actual video to upload for you guys, a countdown with some spooky shit. So
yeah.
that's gonna be fun. Yeah, I watched Thunderbolts the other day and Captain America: Brave New World.
I hear Thunderbolts is their strongest movie in a few years. Is this true?
I agree. Yep. I really enjoyed Thunderbolts. Century.
By the way, the official title is Thunderbolts asterisk at the end.
Exactly, and you find out.
Although now that it's coming out on streaming and Blu-ray and stuff, I noticed they are calling it Thunderbolts: The New Avengers.
Exactly. You basically have to watch the movie all the way to the end to find out why they call it the New Avengers, but it's pretty interesting. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one. It's.
Yeah. I think you'll like it.
Beforehand, it was just like, I felt like they were kind of just looking for a platform for some of these other characters they had created that were cool and people liked, but there was kind of no other role for them.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like people loved Red Guardian, and is she called White Widow or is she still Black Widow?
I think they're still calling her Black Widow.
Yelena Belova character. Yeah. And who else? You had John Walker from the show that I never saw.
I think he's supposed to be U.S. agent. I think.
Yeah.
Ghost is part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Black Widow, it's Ghost, it's U.S. agent, and then Red Guardian comes in, and Bucky is there too, the Winter Soldier. So
and then of course somebody joins by the end of the movie. Does he not? Bob?
Bob does join, but it's one of those things where I don't want to spoil. You gotta watch the movie, but they do.
That's why I'm trying not to use the character name.
Yeah.
Is he called like Bob Reynolds in the movie or something?
I forget what they call him. He just goes by Bob. I know they just call him Bob.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's her name there? Is it Valentina there, whatever her name is there, who Elaine from Seinfeld plays. She calls him Robert in the movie. So it's good though. I think you like it. Captain America: Brave New World, however, a lot of people said it was garbage. It was awful. It was one of the worst Marvel movies. I don't think it's one of the worst Marvel movies ever made. It's not one of the best either, but it didn't feel like a Captain America movie. It kind of felt like a filler movie. It was like, hey, this is technically the sequel season to that show you didn't watch.
Yeah. Well, I heard that was kind of the biggest problem, is that if you did watch, what is it, Captain America or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That sort of Sam Wilson, am I good enough to carry on this legacy, is kind of addressed by the end of the season. So if you watch the show, there's no personal conflict, internal struggle the character's going through. Like, am I worthy? Am I good enough? This guy's my best friend. Can I live up? Can I fill his shoes? Is kind of like he's already moved past that in the show, was my understanding.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, what's the core emotional story, or what's his personal conflict? And I guess it's just to fight the Red Hulk.
So it's a little bit more than that, the story. So basically, Captain America Brave New World, again, I don't know why they made this movie. I think this is a movie that could have been done without. Like, I know they're going towards Avengers Doomsday, so I think they could have just brought Captain America back for that movie. Also, by the way, I started watching the first 2 episodes of Ironheart. Pretty good so far. But I mean, there's a new Falcon, and he's just there. Like, they don't even introduce how he got the new Falcon. So it's just like, okay, whatever. I guess he's got a new Falcon with him. Cool, sure. Bucky cameos for like 2 seconds, and he's apparently a congressman. Don't know when that happened. I mean, at least not like in the movies or the MCU, they don't explain how that happens. But the whole plot is that Thaddeus Ross is president now.
Yeah.
And obviously he's played by Harrison Ford because the original actor passed away in real life. And so there's like a plot to kind of like expose the president, and people thought it was really like a commentary on Donald Trump's presidency, and it's really not that whatsoever. It's basically like there's this whole plot against the president to make him look bad and to make him look like a villain.
Yeah.
Until finally he becomes the Red Hulk. And I don't know if you want spoilers on this movie.
Nah. I'll watch it at some point, and people watching this may not want them. So,
okay. So I'm not going to spoil anything, but all I'm going to say is, without spoiling anything, it didn't feel like a Captain America movie. And like Vanessa and I, we watched it together. It felt like a movie. That's all I'm going to say.
Now, let me ask you, do you have any opinions on Sam Wilson as Captain America versus as the Falcon?
I really like him as the Falcon.
Because in 2015 or whenever the comics were doing the all new, all different era, they had somehow Steve Rogers, the super serum wore off, so he aged to like 90 something, like what he should be in real life. And being too old for the role, Sam Wilson took over. And even in the comics, they're like, did you think it would be anybody else? Like, come on. But I know, like, in the fandom at the time, there was a lot of debate about whether that was a good move for Sam Wilson as a character, because they had taken decades to carve out a unique identity for the Falcon as Sam Wilson, as he has his own storyline, his own supporting characters, his own motivations. And here they are and kind of cutting away everything he is and just, he's Captain America now.
Yeah.
It doesn't erase the history of the character, but it dishonors the Falcon, who is a really good character.
Yeah, it's true.
So, well, I could definitely see that point. Like, it did make sense. Like, after Captain America died, the Punisher picked up the shield for a minute. But
it's Bucky, I think, at one point, right?
But Bucky and the Falcon are really the only two people that were kind of like obvious choices.
Yeah.
So it makes sense story-wise, but, you know, hearing about those arguments as to why he should have stayed the Falcon, I kind of agree with some of them. It kind of cheapens him by just making him the next Captain America versus this, again, unique character they spent decades carving out. When did he come out? In the 70s?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in like all the big Avengers movies. Like, this is a well-known character at this point. They didn't need to kind of like, well, now he's better.
Well, it's like if James Rhodes were to take up the mantle of Iron Man in the movies. It's like, you're coming path as War Machine, and you're good character as War Machine, you know?
Yeah, like, well, he has done that in the comics. They've spent too much time building up War Machine to, I think, waste that.
What do you guys who are watching in the what do you guys think? Let us know. Do you prefer, do you prefer the original Steve Rogers as Captain America, or do you think, they did right by choosing Sam as the predecessor in the comics and now in the movies? Or should it have been, for example, Bucky who should have taken over the mantle? I once had somebody ask me, did a poll, was like, Bucky or Sam, who do you think? And I said, Bucky. And he was like, really? You want Bucky to be a murderous Captain America? And I said to him, it's not that. It's the point that Bucky is a complex character with intriguing, story. And he kind of knows Steve Rogers better than anybody else, even though, yes, Sam is also his best friend. But it's like you said, I said to him too, I said, Falcon is also an interesting character, but Sam Wilson works best as Falcon. And taking Falcon and making him Captain America, but still has the wings of the Falcon, he does everything the Falcon does, just with the red, white, and blue. You're not really upgrading your character. You're just taking the Falcon and you're just changing his outfit.
Whereas giving him a shield.
Exactly. Whereas Bucky goes from the Winter Soldier to actually wearing Captain America outfit, and even though he's a little more aggressive, kind of like the John Walker character, it's an interesting take on the Captain America character.
Yeah, I think he's definitely would be trying to honor the legacy of his friend.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's what about you, Spoony? We got sidetracked talking about that. What have you seen? What have you read? What have you played recently besides me playing that very, very bad IGN 7 on 10 Fantastic Four game? Love that comment, by the way.
I finally saw a shark movie I've been waiting to see for a while. I think it's called No Way Up. Okay. Basically, this plane crashes into the ocean, which is scary enough. And then, birds hit the plane's engine, they cause an explosion, blows open part of the plane, they crash in the ocean, starts filling with water, but it creates an air pocket at the back of the plane where a bunch of survivors are holed up. Now, sharks are swimming around and they're starting to eat the dead bodies that are floating out of the plane. And so the water's slowly rising because this thing is sinking. And so the sharks are getting closer, and then the plane starts to snap off because they're getting to the edge of the continental shelf, and they'll fall into the Marianas Trench or what. There's no rescue at that point. Okay. So they have to figure out a way to get out of the plane and get to the surface without drowning or being eaten by sharks. And so it combines. I love shark movies. Okay, Deep Blue Sea is one of my favorites.
That scene, man.
What, the Sam Jackson?
Yeah. You're laughing. You know what I'm talking about.
This, huh?
I think that's why that movie is also memorable for people too.
Well, that, and I think there's a scene where the shark is eavesdropping at the window. These guys are having conversation. The shark's outside, and he looks over, and the shark swims away. It's just a silly movie.
Can't all be Jaws.
But anyways, this one was decent. For what it was. It's a claustrophobic. We're stuck in this situation, and there's limited time because even if the thing doesn't sink, we've only got so much air in here. Okay. We're gonna asphyxiate, we're all gonna suffocate. So it's you've got the pressure of running out of air, of drowning, of being eaten by sharks, of the fact that you're in the middle of the ocean. Rescue is gonna be, a real challenge. Yeah. And then the fact the plane starts sinking even further to a point where you're not going to be able to get rescued. I mean, you wouldn't survive, but you're... So it was a very tense movie. It wasn't a great movie, but it was an entertaining.
And where did you
90
watch it?
minutes.
Did you stream it online? Did you?
Yeah, it was. They just they just added it to Shudder. So.
Oh, okay.
I saw it through there.
Shudder's got a pretty good library, though. I mean.
They also add another shark movie at the same time where these people are exploring some old Nazi World War II ship.
Okay.
And then they get trapped in there. They get boxed in by 2 sharks. They're like, oh, our only way out are blocked by sharks, so they have to try to survive because, again, you have limited air. You can only be down there for so long. Yeah, I'll watch that one at some point. What
I gotta
about
show
you?
you.
What if besides Fantastic Four, have you seen or done anything interesting over the last little bit since we talked?
I mean, apart
Movies,
from
books.
yeah, I mean, apart from the movies, I mean, I've been reading Sonic DC, so I read the third issue, which is the most recent, and nothing really. It doesn't really add too much. It's just, I think, an in between point because there's only 5 issues, so still enjoying that.
Do you read the normal Sonic books? Because I've heard they've been good for a little minute now.
I heard that too. It's just that on my pull, man, I've already got Ninja Turtles, and there's so many titles with Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I think no, I don't have Spawn anymore, but there's so many Turtles titles that like also it adds up, right? So like I don't know if I can start putting more comics onto my pull list. So I just buy here and there, but I might check out a Sonic comic. We were talking last time how we loved the Sonic comics from the '90s. Like that was one of the best things.
The Archies.
Yeah. Crazy to think about it, but the Archie comics were like the cartoons we loved from because like even the Turtles Archie comics, those were fun. Man. Those were fun back in the day, right?
I liked when they created the Mighty Mutanimals spin-off.
Yeah.
With Mondo Gecko and the other kind of characters they had no place for.
Which they kind of bring back in the 2012 series, the Mighty Mutanimals.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You got Spike. What else is in there? I forget, but yeah, it's the Mighty Mutanimals are back. You got Spike, Pigeon Pete.
Who's that, like, cheetah guy?
Yeah, well, he wasn't in the 2012 series.
Oh, okay.
Because Mondo Gecko doesn't come along until like later on after the Mighty Mutanimals are introduced, and even in the show, Mondo Gecko is voiced by the actor who played Michelangelo in the '90s movies, which is a nice little callback. Yeah.
What is that? Corey Feldman?
Wasn't
he one of the voices?
I think so. I'm not sure which one he did, but yeah, Corey Feldman was one of the Turtles. I think he was Donatello. I think.
Whatever. If you guys know the answer, leave a comment.
I know I'm a big Turtle fan, but like I don't know everything, you know. I just want to show you quickly. You're talking about shark movies. You gotta check this out, by the way. You gotta check this out. I don't know if you ever watched Dr. Wolfula. He's got a crazy amount of shark movie reviews. I tell you crazy amount, but there's only 2. But I've watched this before. This was hilarious. This one was done last year. These 2 are really, you got to check these out. They're really funny. Ghost Shark. Literally a ghost shark attacking people. So,
I mean, that sounds like a promising film.
And then Jaws 5, Cruel's Jaws, which is like a, you know how they do those like Gallo movies, like how they had Zombie, which was supposed to be a Night of the Living Dead. That's basically what Cruel Jaws is supposed to be. So, I recommend, especially since we both love horror, Spoonie, I recommend checking out Dr. Wolfula's channel. His reviews are pretty great. I mean, just showing you a lot of stuff that he's covered. Like he does a lot of stuff, and it's pretty fun.
All right. Yeah. So, I think we were talking about a Fantastic Four movie.
Yes. Do you want to watch the trailer, by the way?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it now, because that will actually help us focus on this movie and not other ones.
Guys, are you ready? We're going to watch. I mean, it's not an exclusive. I mean, we're not that big of a channel, each of us. But you guys ready to watch Fantastic Four trailer, the final trailer? Neither of us have seen it yet, so. All right. Let's do this. No ads this time, I hope.
Famous around the world, please welcome the Fantastic Four. Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch.
I love you, Johnny.
and the Thing.
Hey, what time is it? Say the thing.
That's not really something I say.
It's clobbering time.
That's just in the cartoon. Never late for Sunday dinner. Let's eat.
Hey, what time is it?
It's dinner time. Get inside.
I herald his beginning.
I like this actress, Julia Garner. I just saw her in the Apartment 7A. It was kind of a sort of prequel to Rosemary's Baby.
Okay.
She is also in The Americans and the Netflix show the Ozark. She's really good in that one.
Are we safe?
Now, and the hype behind casting her, it's like they're not creating a new character, rather than Norrin Rad sort of sacrifice himself to save Jalabal.
Yeah.
Jalabal sacrificed herself to save Norrin Rad.
That's what
They're not.
Like,
People are like, oh, they're gender swapping. It's like, no, they're just slightly changing which characters are involved. They're not creating a new character. They're not.
It's about connecting to something
And there's
bigger
no
than
reason
yourself.
that Norrin Rad still can't become a Silver or the Silver Surfer later on.
Together
exactly.
Right?
as a family.
Maybe he makes a bigger deal with Galactus. Anyways, what do you think of the fact that it's like a period film? And it's supposed to be set, what, 50s, 60s?
No. What time is it?
Johnny.
Say it.
I don't wanna.
All right.
Say it.
I gotta say, you gotta watch Thunderball. That's all I gotta say. A little bit of goosebumps. So yeah.
Now, do
yeah,
we
AVGN.
do we want to talk about some of the movie details that have kind of been spoiled by action figures and statuettes?
I actually haven't even looked at any of the toys during that. I've seen so many toys recently, because we're gonna talk about that too after. Superman, right? Because McFarlane Toys puts out the DC stuff. So I've been seeing a lot of toys on that, but I haven't seen anything for Fantastic Four.
Okay, so do you want me to kind of spoil a little bit of Fantastic Four's plot?
Sure. I mean, if you have some pictures up too, go ahead and share if you want to.
Oh, I don't have any ready to go, but there's a reason the movie is subtitled First Steps, and it's not because this is the first superhero team. Franklin Richards is in this
I
one,
saw that.
and it's his first steps, right? Now, if you guys have read him or something, but for the longest time, Franklin Richards was a mutant. He did kind of hang out at Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters on the weekends to, just have friends his own age to play with. And this guy was depicted as, like, beyond Omega level mutant.
Yeah.
In Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four run, where you see the future version of Franklin Richards, he's got Galactus on a leash like a bitch. Like, it's just frightening. To me, my Galactus and this thing, it's towering thing.
Yeah.
Yes, master. Like, insanely, you can warp reality around him.
Yeah.
Like, these two insanely powerful superheroes had a kid that then developed mutant powers. Now, I heard they may have eliminated that. I know he's not an Inhuman.
Okay.
But I don't know where they went with that. But so the theory is that they're going to use Franklin Richards and his reality warping abilities as a way of folding in all the Fox properties into the MCU. So,
Okay.
Elektra, Daredevil, all the Blade stuff, and it seems like they're never going to do anything with that Mahershala Ali Blade that they keep taunting us with. I thought in Deadpool Wolverine, where Wesley Snipes is back and he's like, "I'm the only one, motherfucker."
That was good, yeah.
Like, because the other one's been in development hell, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the theory is Franklin Richards going to warp reality, incorporate the Fantastic Four and a bunch of the other X-Men and all the other Fox stuff into the Marvel Universe in a way that it kind of like rewrites history. Like the Fantastic Four have always been around. You know, so they're not like, so we're not having to do an origin story again for when they join the MCU. It's like, look, we kind of know who they are. This is their origin story. We just want to, next time we see them, we want them to like be with the Avengers or teaming up with somebody else. That's the impression that I'm getting. Again, this is all speculation based off of them releasing a statue of like Sue Storm protecting Franklin Richards.
Okay.
I think that was the image. And so when people saw that, they're like, okay, so it's Franklin's first steps. It's going to be about like him as a baby. And again, knowing what we know about his near limitless powers, this seems like the way that Disney is going to bring all the Fox marketing. They already kind of brought Ghost Rider with that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. No, they brought more recent was Robbie Reynolds, the guy with the hot rod, not the motorcycle.
Is this what we're talking about, by the way?
Yeah, that's the one. So when they revealed that, people were like, oh, okay, so first steps, it's Franklin Richards' first steps. It's about something because maybe he sensed this child. I mean, who the hell knows? This definitely looks like it's going to be better than any of the... Now, I didn't see the 2015, the Michael B. Jordan Fantastic Four. I did not see it. I didn't mind the first one.
No.
I thought it was kind of hokey. I had high hopes for the second one, but then when Galactus turned out to be like a cloud of smoke, it just... No.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree with you. I agree. But you're asking me how I felt about the time setting. I said, watch Thunderbolts. I'm still trying to figure out, like, now this whole theory you're saying, I have to believe that this Fantastic Four is probably not part of, 16th Earth, or are they part of another reality or universe? You know what I mean?
I'm assuming they're part of another reality, and again, they're all going to kind of come together at some point because making TV appearances, even in the comics, they're the world's most popular superheroes, right? We would have heard about them in the MCU before now.
That's it.
Now, obviously, we didn't because they didn't have the film rights to those characters, so they're not going to promote a rival studio's project. But now they want to get them all on board, so this seems like the easiest way to incorporate them in.
Happened to John
you know what? It might have been like a 5-minute cameo. I loved him in the role. I thought he looked great.
Yeah.
And you know what? We talked about how these companies are... I feel they're almost over-relying on the multiverse now.
Yeah.
But there's no reason we can't see him as Mr. Fantastic.
That's fair. That's completely fair what you're saying. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do here. But then, I mean, like, you're saying how, it doesn't make sense right now. Maybe there's another universe because they're these world's famous superheroes. They're on TV. Shout out to Ant-Man, which holds a special place in my heart because that's the first movie I ever saw on in theaters with my wife on our second date. So. Okay, movie, but it holds a special place in my heart.
Was the first Thor, Natalie Portman.
Nice.
I didn't really care for the movie, but it was a good experience.
Yeah. But see, like others, see, like we have that in common. First dates, first or second dates with our wives.
Well, first one at a movie theater, yeah.
That's it. Superhero movies. That's how
and somehow,
I tell you, I don't know how she does. I don't know how she does. Especially with all this stuff in the background. But yeah, I think back to Ant-Man, where Scott Lang breaks into Hank Pym's home, And he's like, "What's all this?" But then you got backstory behind him and Van Dyne were the Ant-Man and Wasp. Well, how do we not like? Why did they not?
That's a great point. You know, that's something I honestly didn't remember. But you're right. They had all this kind of like, oh, these were the glory days and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't mined that for like a TV show or something. Especially if you want to do supposed to be like, what decade would it have been when they were at their height? Probably what, the 70s, 80s?
Something like that.
Maybe a chance to do like a fun 80s kind of action show or something.
Yeah, you know.
But you're right. There clearly is more to the MCU lore than stuff they've even shown or talked about. I mean, they kind of briefly shown this, but yeah, no. As far as I know, no mention since.
Or just hear me out. People think that MCU is so masterful, they're masterful at storytelling, that maybe somewhere down the line we're going to find out more about that Ant-Man thing. Or, just hear me out, they made a big fucking plot hole and they're like, oh shit.
No, I like that they do that, and that's something why I like comic books, is that sometimes a writer will just like introduce, pick it up, and do their own thing with it.
Yeah.
You know, so that they could just say like, oh yeah, we used to be heroes in the past. And that way, whether they want to do a TV show, like a TV movie, like the Werewolf by Night, or another movie, this is an easy storyline that they can mine that hasn't been explored, and yeah, it's ripe with opportunity, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what goes on there. I mean, do you have any high expectations for the movie? I mean, or do you think it's just me? Because I was looking up online yesterday, you know, getting prepared for the live stream today, and I heard like from a month ago there was articles coming out saying that there was test screening, and Marvel's a little bit worried because I'm like, oh, okay.
You know, I'm starting to put less and less faith like that. I mean, obviously, if the test screening bombs, the studio's not going to come out and tell you that. But a lot of times, these insider reports, especially lately, have been so wrong or completely fail to mention critical plot points.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much do they know? I think saying you have an insider is just a way to make up whatever you want and have a level of deniability, of separation. It wasn't me. I'm just repeating what somebody else said.
Yeah, that's it. So, I don't know. Again, maybe you're right. Who knows how true that is?
It's watching Ironheart, and I don't have Disney right now, but it is something I'd like to check out at some point.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, okay. Anyways, so a lot of people are saying like, "Oh, the show is terrible. It was scrapped. It was, you know, for like 2 to 3 years into a writer's strike. Like, there was a lot they couldn't do, and they said that the show only had, I think 2 days worth or 2 scenes that they had to reshoot, which is like a record low for a Marvel show.
Yeah.
Apparently that and Loki season 2 had no reshoots, from what I've heard. But people are taking the fact that it had reshoots, the fact that for a lot of other reasons, not relating to quality of product, the show was kind of on the shelf for a minute. And they're using that to argue that, well, it's a bad dumping it all out right away. That's because they're trying to sandwich it between releases of Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. They don't want to overwhelm their audience, so they're pacing it out.
Can I say something? I don't want to be that guy, but I feel like Ironheart is suffering from the same kind of backlash from when it first got released.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know where I'm going.
Well, and that's where she was in that movie.
So I kind of feel like anytime there is a movie with a predominantly ethnic cast, even if the story's good, a certain
Yeah.
certain type of people are going to try to find fault with that show. How about this? Click away and keep your goddamn opinions to yourself. Watch the show, enjoy it. Even if I wasn't with my wife, I'd probably still be enjoying Iron Fist. It's a good show, personally. I think it's a good show. I mean, Riri Williams is an interesting character.
I didn't see Black Panther 2 just because, I'm sorry, Black Panther movie without Black Panther in it, I didn't see the appeal. I heard it's actually pretty good in that a part of the storyline deals of unexpectedly. So they kind of channeled the reality of the situation into the movie. And I think Ryan Coogler did this one too, right? So so it's going to be a good movie. And again, I don't have Disney Plus right now, so I haven't really checked it out or anything like that. But especially because I know Ironheart debuts in that movie.
Yeah, she does.
And I'm interested in checking out the show because bringing in characters like the Hood and the not so secret spoiler Mephisto.
Yeah, well, maybe if Vanessa's watching now, that's spoiled. But that's okay. But I don't think she knows who that is. So
well, in the comics, it's supposed to be Dormammu, and I don't know why they didn't do that in the movies because they've already established Dormammu through Doctor Strange.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. They decided to add this other character instead.
But now that the thing is, this movie you can tell is playing on magic and technology. I think it's gonna be a great time to bring back Ghost Rider at some point now. I know we like to support Robbie. Was it Robbie
Reyes? Or I think
he was in Shield, but do you think they're gonna bring in? Not Nicolas Cage.
No, he's too
God,
old.
no, please. Johnny, I don't forget his name.
Johnny Blaze?
Thank you. I was going to say Johnny Storm because we're talking about Fantastic Four. Storm was...
Honestly, I think they should bring in the 90s. They should bring in the Danny brother or something. Yeah. But just because it's something different. We've already seen the Johnny Blaze interpretation through 2 Nicolas Cage films. We've seen the Robbie Reyes interpretation through Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We haven't seen Danny Cage. He's a blank slate. I'd say do something with him and then bring the other ones in.
Because I know the longest time Norman Reedus from Walking Dead was like, I want to play Ghost Rider.
That might be really cool.
Yeah.
The Jason Aaron run on Ghost Rider from the mid-2000s. So he picked up a torch. So the writer Daniel Way started a new Ghost Rider series. And his last issue, this is what I'm talking about, passing the torch to somebody else. His last issue, he goes around punishing the evil. Ghost Rider's an angel. That's what Daniel Way's last issue. Ghost Rider, you're an angel. And it's like this jaw-dropping moment. Next issue's a new writer. So I thought that's really cool because he gives the next guy a blank slate to do whatever he wants. Mm-hmm. And so he says, well, if Ghost Rider's establishes that throughout history there have been other Ghost Riders, they from other cultures, other places on the world. There's Inuit one that rides a crazy effing polar bear. There was some 2 little gangster guys from the 30s, and they're with their Tommy guns and stuff.
With Spawn. And there was different spawns over the eras, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Marvel even they had an old Western character called the Ghost Rider, and they ended up sort of tying him into. I think before Jason Aaron, they tied him in posts or whatever.
Yeah. Wasn't he? Didn't they bring him into the movie too?
Yeah,
with
it
Nicolas Cage and
was that
if I'm
guy
not mistaken?
Sam Worthington or
I
Sam
just know that
Elliott.
when you yeah, I just know that you can barely understand him when he
Yeah.
speaks. He's perfect for Western
Yeah.
characters.
I think they should at some point. Now, do you know anything about the Cosmic Ghost Rider? Because I found out about that a little while ago, and honestly, it sounds crazy.
I have not. I've heard of the Cosmic Ghost Rider. Not read anything.
Do you know the core concept though?
No, I don't.
Okay, so the Ghost
Sometimes when I
Rider
like,
is
interested in things I don't really pay attention. Like for me, Ghost Rider was fun in the night, right? That's what I love, Ghost Rider. But no, Cosmic.
okay. So Ghost Rider's the spirit of vengeance. Who enacts more vengeance than anybody? The Punisher. So you've got the Punisher is the new Ghost Rider, and then he becomes the new Herald of Galactus, and it drives him insane. Because he looks and it drives him insane. He becomes almost like a Deadpool level character, but it's more sadistic. It's not so funny, fourth wall breaking. I've heard it's there's like a Donny Cates run that I heard is really good. I think he created the character, and then the character has been featured in other books and stuff. Who then becomes the Ghost Rider, who then becomes the Silver Surfer. So he's riding a cosmic motorcycle. Yeah. And apparently it was a huge secret for a long time as to who this was. Because the guy was just so... The guy's more like cold and reserved and very like methodical. And this character was just like insane levels of destruction and violence. And yeah, they revealed, turns out that's Frank Castle.
How the hell did I miss that though? Like seriously.
Yeah,
I missed that.
I don't know how I missed it either. But as soon as I heard about it, I'm like, I have to read this at some point.
I'm kind of interested now too.
I see this says Donny Cates is the writer. I think, like I said, I think he created the character, and from my understanding, his is the best run. And stuff featuring the character that are also worth checking out.
Okay, Cosmic Ghost Rider by Donny Cates. There's Spirits in Thanos Volume 2. That's what I'm saying, 2018, like 2017, 2018, that's when I started recollecting comics again, going to the shop. How the hell did I miss this? Okay. And, yeah, there he is on his, pretty cool character, I'm not gonna lie. Bryce Funko didn't make any pops of him.
Oh, give it time.
They get their
gotta,
everything.
They gotta think of another line. They gotta have. You can't just do the one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been talking a lot about Marvel, the Fantastic Four stuff, other Marvel stuff. We'd love to see folded in, like from the Fox stuff. Obviously, I think everybody wants to see X-Men.
Yeah, of course.
Now, it makes no sense that you have the Fantastic Four, who everybody loves, the Avengers, who a lot of people love, and then the X-Men, who everybody hates. And what's the difference? Oh, because they were born that way. Doesn't that make it worse? I mean, the Thing looks freakier than like 95% of the mutants on the planet, and he's beloved. But you know, you've got somebody what a freak. Okay, that's probably not a good example, but no, there's.
Spoonie, I'm gonna call.
know. There's always been a question of why Justice Freaky.
People hate the X-Men, but they're so popular. They keep getting
No,
stories.
I mean, like
comics,
in universe, like people hate mutants. Yeah. But when you've got the Fantastic Four running around, they look this. There's a guy can set himself on fire. A guy that's like living brick, and people love them. They're not afraid of them. They embrace them, and yeah. So I've heard in the comics, and I guess this conversation could come up around the films, is should they keep them as separate universes? Does it make sense to have this kind of X-Men persecution thing going on in a world where there are tons of freaky looking characters that the public knows and loves? I mean, Spider-Man for decades was branded as a menace by New York newspapers. It was only when Bendis had him join the New Avengers that America and Iron Man are willing to vouch for Spider-Man and put him on the team. Then clearly he's not that bad of a menace.
That's it. But I think that's what makes X-Men 2 though so great, is the fact that they're like hated by everybody, complex stories, and a lot of them have great backstories, but like great stories in general. I think that's what makes it good. I mean, like we've spoken about how Jonathan Hickman, every time he's given X-Men, it's like, please fucking stop.
Well, I didn't like his opening salvo. I've heard some of the stuff in that era that he established. I have not looked too deep into it.
3 issues out of 5. That book, man, it's just the artwork by Capullo that's nice.
That's bad if you can't even finish the limited series.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even like, you know what, just for the sake of completion, I'll get the next. It's like, no, I'm out. I'm cutting my losses now.
Exactly. So, yeah. So, Fantastic Four. I want to see it. I definitely do.
Yeah.
Alright. It'd be interesting.
Obviously, though, for me, my priority, and not just because it comes out sooner, is the James Gunn era of DC is here.
So, let me ask you a question. Now, DC has tried so hard to compete with Marvel over the years, and I feel like DC... Well, okay, we don't know about the Gunverse, because, let's be honest, Guardians of the Galaxy... The second one was bad, Guardians of the Galaxy, but like the first and the third one were good, and I feel like
the Christmas special.
Yeah, the Christmas special was really good too. And I feel like it surpassed our expectations for Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn is one of those directors that he's really good at molding stories and molding universes. And as much as you know this, I don't have to keep saying it as much as how I feel about the movie. Because he knows story, he knows comic books, right? So normally I think DC works well when they're like not really interconnected like the MCU, right? They tried that DC and it didn't really work. And people were like calling for the Snyder cut of the Justice League. I was like, guys, cut your freaking losses. The movie sucked. And then finally I watched it.
It's tonally a different film.
Oh yeah.
Like the first one has that trademark Joss Whedon style of humor, and it's just I think everybody's over it at this point. And it was all jokey, and then you see the Snyder cut. If you can sit through, what is it, 4 hours?
I had to watch it in 2 sittings.
Yeah. Like the plot with Cyborg is completely different. Oh my god!
Oh yeah!
Like there's so and the same scene, even the same scenes in the movie, but with extended a little bit or with the context of the others. A lot of that movie is it is worth watching. It's a completely different film. if you have four,
Especially here's the other thing too. Now I'm kind of like, oh fuck, I'm sad we didn't get more. That last scene that Bruce Wayne has the
Flash?
interaction with.
or what do you mean?
So I guess it's been so long now that we can
Oh,
talk
with
about
what's his
Martian
name?
Manhunter.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about after that.
Maybe I'm not remembering.
No,
this.
wait. Anyway, I'm talking about, okay. It's been so long the movie's been out, we don't need.
Right.
Is that the end, or is that before the dream sequence?
I don't recall.
Okay.
I
I'm
remember a
fine
lot of what
because-
happened in the movie, but
Yeah.
it's more like I remember sequences, but I couldn't tell you what order they come in.
That's the thing, is it was a good movie. Like, even the whole fight with Darkseid, the whole look of Darkseid and Steppenwolf is the Snyder Cut had the dark blue sky, so it looked better. Even like the retelling of the Mother Box and that war is vastly different too. So
Also, the original choice of Steppenwolf, even I, who am a DC fan, was like, wait, who? Why would they pick him? They're gonna have Darkseid come in.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this was just the appetizer. Here comes Darkseid.
I mean, it would make more sense if they had Desaad doing Darkseid's dirty work in the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the female Furies. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, me too. When I saw Steppenwolf, I was like, am I missing something? I love the New Gods, the Fourth Wall, Jack Kirby. I think that's his magnum opus. But even, yeah, I agree with you. Like, you had so many characters. You know, you had Desaad, you had Calabac, you've got Granny Goodness. So,
yeah, it's so many options they could have gone with there. I really feel like, I mean, there's a reason when DC rebooted their continuity in 2011 with the New 52. There's a reason the very first story is the Justice League forming to fight Darkseid. Because you want to start, this is your all-new universe. You want to start it with a massive bang. So who's the biggest threat in DC? It's still Darkseid. I mean, I know they've introduced all this other stuff, but basically, Darkseid is still one of the largest threats ever.
Can we just take a side note, by the way? That's when more than half the characters that he created in Marvel are still the most popular in that company, and the little side story that he created for DC when he went over there has created the bill to this day. That's supposed to show you how insane of an icon and a legend Jack Kirby is, when both of his characters on both companies are still the core go-to today. Sorry, I just wanted to say that for a moment.
Well, and actually, Jack Kirby worked for, well, it would have been like National Publishing at the time, or what. He worked at DC before World War II.
Yeah.
And he put out a book called Newsboy Legion, which is about a bunch of street kids who sell newspapers, who buys and whatever. And another one, is it Newsboy Legion and the Boy Commandos, and those were guys that actually helped, I think, in the European Theater of Operations, with stuff in World War II, and they ended up in the 90s during the John Byrne era. One of the kids from, I think it was the Newsboy, as Detective Dan Turpin, or Terrible Turpin, for the Metropolis City Police Department. So, and Cadmus, Project Cadmus, you might recognize from the Supergirl show and some other stuff. I forget what it was called when Jack Kirby created it. It was called something else, and then they quickly changed it to Cadmus. It was made up of the adult version of the Newsboy Legion. At the time in the 40s, they worked with a costumed fighter called the Guardian. Blue suit with yellow accent, kind of a yellow helmet, and they ended up bringing him back as a series of clones. So there's this kind of weird storyline with that character where he's like, "Who am I? Like, I have these memories, but am I the real Jim Harper?" So yeah, they ended up even his "Who Cares Nobody" war stories that everybody was churning out in the 40s. So there's a lot in DC that's kind of linked to Kirby that isn't even very apparent.
Even Commander's got a cult following, I
Yeah.
think, right? So I thought that the DC movies worked as like solo. Yeah, you have Batman and sequels. You have The Batman, the Penguin show. So I don't know if they're going to touch on more of that because of the James Gunn stuff.
Oh, they've confirmed that's going to be its own separate thing going on.
Okay. So kind of like the Black Label stuff, basically.
After the Batman and the Penguin show, and they're doing another Batman, like it's called, I think, the Reeves verse. Because what is it? Matt Reeves is the director.
Yeah.
So it's the Reeves verse of Batman. It's just, it exists as its own thing. It's not going to come anywhere near the James Gunn stuff. It's going to be a different Batman in the James Gunn stuff.
But they are going to bring Batman to the new James Gunn-led DC era, right?
One of the things I'm excited, hoping to have a good one for the first time since like Superman 2. Superman 3 and 4 were terrible. Superman 3, that was the one with Richard Pryor and the bank scheme. Superman 4 was where they the quest for peace, where they blow up the nukes, and then Superman Returns just stunk.
Can I say something?
Man of Steel, I wanted to like, but I thought it was trying to be too dramatic and stuff, like what we've seen on here. Like,
just trying to go the Dark Knight
James
route.
Gunn wants to come into a DC cinematic universe that's fully formed. Everybody knows Superman's origin. He came here on a rocket. We don't need to see that on film for the umpteenth time. So one of the first images we see, Crypto.
I still haven't seen the trailer, right? Because I'm not a Superman fan, so we're going to watch that with you.
Oh, basically, James Gunn wants to fully form DC universe. Yeah. The first time we see Batman, we're going to see Batman, we're going to see Robin, we're going to see Nightwing, Oracle, Batgirl. He wants to use these characters right by piece, drip feeding you. Oh, this character's introduced here, this character's introduced there. He wants hit the ground running with all this stuff in place. And
that's kind of what Snyder was doing with the very, very shitty Batman versus Superman movie. That Batman was already established.
Yeah.
He's in the shadows, and they were still calling him the Batman. But I kind of appreciated that they were going that route with Batman instead of giving him another origin story. Because even the Batman with Robert Pattinson doesn't really have an origin story. He's just, Batman Year One type story, if you think about it. But there's no really so I'm getting started. We saw that shit in Batman Begins, and they did it really well in Batman Begins. You know? But I get what you're saying. I don't know if you're going to hate me for saying this, but I don't think there's ever been one single...
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree.
Because I'm not going to lie. I know that the Richard Donner movie is very celebrated with people as the only good Superman movie, but even me, when I watched that movie years ago, and I tried again a couple of years ago too, I just found it was... I don't know. Christopher Reeve was perfect as Superman, don't get me wrong, right? I think that guy was an amazing human being. But the movie was just... What's going on here, man.
I mean,
Like, I'm not saying Supergirl was good either, but like,
maybe at the time, if we had been around to see it in the theater, maybe we would have had a different experience with it. Just because they're the best live action Superman movies doesn't mean they're good. That's really just speaking to the quality of the other ones.
But it's the other side of the coin. Like, I love Fantastic Four, and I'm going to say to you, I know you said that the 2005 movie was not horrible. No, it wasn't horrible. But do I still think that there was any good Fantastic Four live action movies ever made? No. Even though Roger the best look, and that's all I can say really about that. None of the Fantastic Four movies that they put out have ever been good.
Nope.
So hopefully July will redeem Fantastic Four, and hopefully you'll finally get a good Superman movie. Because I'm not gonna lie, I love Superman Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
Not the original one that kickstarted the cartoon universe. I like the New 52 version. The one that was the
two-part or whatever, right?
Exactly. That one was fantastic. And I always say, my wife was always like, why are you talking Superman? You don't like him. I go to the universe is coaxing me back in every time. Yep. My best friend wants to love Superman, so we'll talk about it. But it's like I keep saying, I love the death of Superman storyline. Right? That's what we grew up with. And it brought Steel into the fold, and Steel's one of my all-time favorite characters. So I don't hate everything about Superman.
They've got some. It's coming out later this year. It's like the 30th anniversary oversized absolute Superman thing, and it's shaped like a tombstone. And it looks cool, but people are saying like it's not going to fit on your shelf. You're gonna have. It looks cool. It's the entire however many issues in one. But yeah, it's like I don't know, like 12 long. I don't know.
I got the Godzilla Criterion Collection on Blu-ray. That barely fits on my shelf. And a couple years back, man, when HMV was still open, I don't know if you remember HMV, man.
I remember their closeout sales.
Yep. They had everything, not like Sunrise Records now, but they had everything at HMV. In downtown Montreal, we had like a 4-level store, and they had the Undertaker, the wrestler, the Undertaker. They had a massive Undertaker set that, again, itself was shaped like a coffin. Big old set.
Oh, I think I remember seeing that one.
Yeah, it was this whole entire thing wrestling matches he's had. Like, I don't watch WWE anymore, so I can't really tell you, but I was always a fan of The Undertaker and Sting. I wanted to get that, but then I thought to myself, where the hell am I going to put this thing?
Yeah. No, that's for like the diehards. That's where you've got at least a shelf or part of a wall where it's just Undertaker merch. You bought like a replica title belt. You've got like an autographed copy of the hat or whatever. Like that's for the people who like all they care about is Undertaker. Yeah, they like other wrestlers and stuff. I mean, he's got to fight somebody, but really, it's all about Taker.
Yep. All right. Want to watch the trailer?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Whoever's still with us, Superman trailer. Here. All right. I'm gonna bring the volume down a little bit. I just realized that probably a little bit better if we bring it down while watching the trailer. There we go. All right. Here we go.
Superman. The most powerful being on planet Earth. We finally made it. Now, as planned.
Oh, it's okay.
And of course,
Lex Luthor.
Reporter you always do interviews with. Who raised you as a child?
Can you pause this for a second?
Too.
Yeah, I just gotta get a drink.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry, all the talking has made my mouth dry.
No problem. Check this out.
Oh, nice. got a little be right back screen.
Yeah. I thought of it all, man, for going forward for the streams. All right. Yeah. So before we go back to the trailer, is there a reason why there's subtitles like just etched
You're
in
on
there? 'Cause
Warner
they're-
Brothers India.
Is that what I'm on?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're watching the video off the Indian site.
No offense, Warner Brothers India. DC Comics? No, that's the. I wanted to find the the final trailer. That's because I feel like that's probably the most accurate one to look at now, right? I would think, right? Yeah, I keep showing me Warner Brothers India. Oh, here we go. DC 3 weeks ago. So hang on a second. I'm scrolling through, and you're not even seeing what's going on. By the way, did you see this? There's a new Running Man coming out.
No.
It's directed by the guy who did Scott Pilgrim. So
It could be interesting.
okay, this might be good.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
Yeah, this is the same one, just minus subtitles.
Man. The most powerful being on planet Earth. We finally made. Now, as planned, I'll destroy you. And of course, who raised you as a child? I'll kill them too.
So I have. Oh. Oh, so this is like a serious trailer. It's not a fun trailer like the last one they put out.
Oh, okay.
Your plans will work.
Wrap it up.
Good luck with that.
I see it. Yeah, I see it right there.
That's Guy Gardner.
Was that supposed to be?
Yeah.
Mr.
Mr.
Terrific?
Terrific. Oh, I love. He's like the DC Mr. Fantastic.
That's true.
They chose him. Let them die.
iTunes TV.
Hey, quit messing around.
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
That's the Kingdom Come logo, no?
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
So, was that the trailer you wanted me to see?
No, this one looked more like kind of like I said, like the final trailer. Even though the one below it says final trailer. The one that they put out before that was a lot more fun. It featured a lot of crypto in it,
Is this the one?
and it's 1 month ago. Yeah, I think this is it.
All right, let's watch it then.
It starts
Have you
off
watched
with so in this movie, right from the jump, Clark and Lois are married. She knows to skip all this
Okay.
nonsense. Like that's not. We don't care about that. We want to see, Superman save his wife.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I just want to say, like, we're watching. We watched the final any of the Superman trailers, so I guess we'll watch both of them. Okay. So I trust you. Let's take a look. So just before we go, Nathan Fillion is playing Guy Gardner.
Yeah,
it's an interesting choice to bring in him as Green.
Well, they wanted a Green Lantern, and because of Ryan Reynolds and what's going on with him, Blake Lively, and all this, they did not want to touch Hal Jordan much for a while, at the very least, Barry Allen, you will not see in film for a while. Ezra Miller like tainted that.
So bring in, but can't they bring
Grant
in
Gustin
Wally
or
West
whatever?
into the Flash?
You talk about the guy from the show.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, I mean, if they're bringing Guy,
or even have like there's so
work.
many different, like there's like 9 Flashes at this point from different alternate futures or whatever.
Although I did like the guy who played Jay Garrick in the Flash TV show. He was the original Flash from the original TV show. Cool.
Dawson's dad.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a Dawson's Creek reference.
All right, because I like to torture myself, and because I'm such a good friend with Spoonie, let's watch the next trailer for Superman.
So the woman in this playing Lois Lane. She played the main character on, I think it was the Amazon series, Marvelous.
Okay.
Pretty good actor.
Well, right after that, though, the guy who plays Clark Kent
Let's do it, Cronkite.
does have the look of
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for what some might. It's a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's fine.
My actions stopped the war.
I have not seen that, but
This is how you're gonna be?
Okay.
I'm not the one being interviewed,
what? He's got
Superman.
the red underwear.
Did you consult with
the red underwear and the belt.
That's amazing. I gotta say that gets points right there.
They don't want to see a realistic interpretation. These guys, like,
in the same situation, and
man, that
consider
flies.
the consequences.
People were going to die.
Using the old theme song too.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
Or they at least remixed it or something.
Your choices.
Tearing apart the Kryptonian robots in the Fortress of Solitude.
Actions.
Again, that's a concept that was introduced during the John Byrne
That's
Superman.
what makes you who you are. Superman. He's not a man. He's an it.
Metamorpho.
Somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation.
The Hawkman or Hawk Girl?
No.
Hawk Girl. I think especially because the Justice League cartoon, I think Hawk Girl is way more popular.
Fair enough.
Although I have heard Hawkman has had, the writer Robert Venditti did a Hawkman run that was like apparently awesome.
You have a dog?
Was that that wasn't the trailer that you reviewed on your channel, was it?
No, the one I clearly there's a ton of these things. The one I was thinking of is it shows Superman, his butt kicked, he's lying somewhere in like the Arctic, and then Crypto comes along, starts sniffing at him, like, what's going on? And he just says, boy,
I think I found it.
take me home. Yeah. And then Crypto drags him back to the Fortress of Solitude, and that's where you see the robots are lifting him up. So I noticed in the chat, Kevin Davis is saying that Jurassic Park is going to take away the Superman box office, at least some of it. And I kind of agree. I actually really am looking forward to this. I don't know if you saw that last one. It was awful. Was it Jurassic World Dominion?
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one.
It's like, it's not really about dinosaurs. It's about like people trying to commoditize them or something. But it's like they're almost kind of like a secondary thing to this. boring as hell.
He said, and
Yes,
Kevin's also saying that Fantastic Four
you
first
can hear
steps
him
up.
struggling to breathe, right? Like he's really.
Yeah. Kevin thinks that that an MCU is going to bounce back with Doomsday and Secret Wars, and that Fantastic Four is not going to do anything for the studio. What do you think? I don't know. We'll see about Fantastic Four.
I was gonna say I thought Secret Wars came out, but I was thinking of the show Secret Invasion.
Oh right. I don't know, Kevin. To be honest with you, Jurassic Park might probably take the box office this weekend. 100% agree with you on that. But next weekend when Superman comes out,
take me home.
I mean, like I said, I'm not the biggest Superman fan, but I do feel like people are going to go see it.
But I like that Crypto just looks like a dog. Apparently,
Yeah.
James Gunn modeled it after his dog. Apparently.
Oh yeah.
But because I think in the New 52, he was like a Kryptonian wolfhound, and he was this giant beast of a thing. And James Gunn wants to be like, look, he's got superpowers. He doesn't have to look like a huge dog to be able to, kick your butt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of... There we go. Dragging Superman back to the fortress so the robots can help heal him up. Like, some of the origins of Superman have Lex Luthor growing up in Smallville. We remember the Smallville TV show. That was obviously a core concept, but I think that dates back to like the 60s or 70s. They decided to retroactively, when they were creating the Superboy character, I think that's when they introduced like, and Lex Luthor spent some time growing up there too. To give extra motivation as to why he hates Superman.
Yeah.
So I have no idea if they know each other as like personal friends in this, because we see that Lois and Clark are married. I think this implies they're both well established in their careers as reporters. So at the very least, we know Lois will have met Lex. Clark probably has at this point, just being married to her and also being like a top reporter in that city. But it's showing us a lot of exciting things, and I hope the story can hold up.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm glad you're excited.
Oh no,
glad you are. But it looks just like another generic Superman movie to me. But a bunch of other superheroes in it.
I'm looking at this, okay, not so much maybe as like a Superman movie, but as kind of like a primer to the James Gunn DC universe. I haven't seen Creature Commandos yet. Obviously, Peacemaker Season 2 isn't out.
I haven't seen Peacemaker yet, so...
Well, Peacemaker Season 2 is going to be set in the James Gunn universe, even though
Suicide Squad is going to be... Oh, that's his movie too, right? So is he bringing that? Is he going to include that in?
In some kind of way, I think it is kind of. I think parts of it are going to count
for
being acknowledged because. So Peacemaker was a show that's a spin-off of that movie.
Yeah.
Season 1 took place in the Snyderverse. Season 2 takes place in the James Gunnverse. So. How much of that counts is kind of wishy-washy.
Fair enough. So,
but Creature Commandos counts. And you said the one guy in the movie, he looked like from the Creature Commando. Who is the guy in the Creatures Commando?
Rick Flag.
Yeah, same guy.
Oh, so that's who he's playing. Okay.
What James Gunn said, as well, he really pushed for all this DC stuff coming out as part of this collective or whatever you want. There's the new cinematic universe. He wants consistency through everything. So if you're an actor who's playing that character in the movie, you're doing the voice on the cartoon and you're motion capturing for the video game. He wants the same person. Like he
Basically, what
wants
they do in
you
the
to think of
MCU.
this character yeah. But even in the MCU, like in the cartoons, you don't get Robert Downey Jr. for a
Fair enough.
Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah,
But
that's
James Gunn, if they do a Saturday morning cartoon, he expects all these guys to like, look, if you're signing on to play in our sandbox, we want you on everything.
no, that makes sense.
So
I
I think
mean,
that's kind of cool.
okay.
And as an actor, I would think, hey, consistent, steady work.
Well, yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's kind of nice though to see Frank Grillo in there because I appreciate that actor. It was cool that he was Crossbones in Marvel. But I feel like with Rick Flag, it's a character he could probably have more depth with too.
Yeah.
So, again, have you watched Tulsa King, the show with Sylvester Stallone?
No, I still haven't.
Recommend it. Frank Grillo is in the second season. Really recommend it. I want to take a little segue and watch a trailer. Have you ever seen the movie Brightburn?
Yes.
You've seen Brightburn. Okay, I was going to play. Did
you
you know that was a James Gunn produced Superman style horror movie? That's insane when I think about that.
Yeah.
I've read, so it makes sense that he wants to do Superman because I heard that he wanted to do Superman for the longest time, and that's why he kind of did. He didn't write and direct Brightburn, but he produced it. I think it was his two of his brothers that wrote and directed the movie. So he really wanted to do Superman for the longest time, and that's why they did Brightburn. But I read something online, and I wanted to bring that to your attention. I don't know if you agree with that. Somebody said it's not. If you think about it, it's not really a horror twist on Superman. Think about it as the origin story of Bizarro. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Although, was it? I think it was Alan Moore when he was doing his Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, the very last Superman story before Crisis on Infinite Earths. He wrote that Bizarro, understanding to be the most imperfect version of Superman. Well, Superman's alive. That means Bizarro needs to die. And so he killed himself. That's it.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of makes sense in a way, right? He's got to be everything Superman.
There's a ghost in your house.
Yeah. Oh, that was my wife throwing some stuff around.
See, where was that? Where was that when you were watching the scary videos?
You might recognize some of this
that's
stuff.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, she got this. I don't know where she found it. All this fabric. She's going to make me a pillowcase.
Nice. Where's my turtle's pillowcase?
Well, we'll see how much fabric's left.
I'm just kidding. So yeah, what were we saying now? We were talking about got sidetracked by the turtles.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah.
Just go ahead.
No, you were saying. I think we're talking about Bizarro, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, just that. I liked Alan Moore's take on him, where, well, if he's the opposite of Superman and Superman's alive, that means Bizarro needs to die. So he exposed himself to blue kryptonite or whatever, and he died.
I always looked at Bizarro, though, as a comedy character, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. Well, it's just been written in different ways, but I think over the last 20 years, they've written him more as almost like a childlike character. I don't know how to explain it. It's the current version of Bizarro hasn't been around that long, just a couple decades. Before that, he was just kind of like a mindless clone.
They tried to do Bizarro in Smallville at one point, but it was like,
come
on, it was stupid. Kevin Davis, when do you think the Mandalorian movie trailer will come out?
I have no idea on that.
Movie? I didn't know
What's that?
I didn't know they were making a Mandalorian movie.
Yeah, I heard something about that. Like, rather than do another season, let's just like tell a really good condensed story as kind of a farewell movie.
So they're not. So that's gonna be like the Big Bang, the big huzzah is gonna be that, and then they're done.
I think so. Yeah. Now maybe Kevin or somebody else can fill us in a little more detail on that, but. Yeah, and I think I think they just want to put a good Star Wars movie out in the theaters. I hear Andor is really good. I actually kind of am sad I don't have Disney Plus right now. I'll find a trial or something at some point when there's enough stuff that I can just binge it.
Yeah.
But I hear Andor is the best Star Wars related property in like decades.
Well, I started watching Ahsoka. I never finished it, but that wasn't too horrible. I mean, it's part of the Mandalorian verse, anyways.
Yeah, you know, I was never, just due to not having opportunity to see it, I was never really got into the Clone Wars. I wanted to so much. I'd read about it, and it'd be really cool that she was Anakin's Padawan. I can definitely understand why people love the character and why they would do a live action show follow-up. I just didn't have the personal connection there.
Yeah. So to answer Kevin's question, it looks like the movie's coming out next May. So we still have a whole entire year before the movie comes out.
Who's in there? Sigourney Weaver's in there.
Yep.
I don't know if she was on the show or not.
I don't think so.
No, it doesn't look like it.
I mean, obviously Pedro Pascal's back. Grogu has his own cast billing. Look at that. Grogu.
Yeah.
That's how popular Grogu is. When you know.
I think there's still a lot of people out there that call him Baby Yoda.
Oh yeah. But I think the trailer probably won't come out anytime before, maybe January or February next year. That's what I'm thinking. If not by the holiday season, if anything.
Okay, so does Disney have any other Marvel movies that are coming out before the end of the year in theaters?
This year?
Yeah.
That's
or is Fantastic Four kind of it for the year, and then you're just going to see TV shows? Because if they had another Marvel movie before the end of the year, I would put money on them putting a Mandalorian trailer before that.
That probably makes sense.
I would think they'd want to drop it before one of their big titles.
Trying to see MCU feature films. I mean, Doomsday's not coming out till next year, right?
I think so.
Take a look. Now we're in Phase 6 now? Oh yeah, Phase 6.
New Spider-Man, Avengers.
And
a year between them.
So maybe you're right. Count on the new trailer for Mandalorian Grogu probably coming out soon, I guess. Do you think Zootopia 2 will be the highest grossing film of this year? Sorry?
It just occurred to me. The next big thing that they tend to drop a lot of trailers on will be around the Super Bowl. It'll probably Mandalorian trailer by Super Bowl.
If we don't forget Comic-Con is coming up this month, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a teaser, but I might not could see much footage till later in the year.
Like this weekend is the Montreal Comic-Con. They don't get shit there because they're trying to be as big as that, but
I gotta say, I love the first Zootopia movie, and I hope Zootopia 2 crushes it.
Kevin, I gotta say something, man. And I think Spoonie's gonna be like, what the fuck, bro? I've never seen Zootopia.
No?
I've never seen Zootopia, man. I feel like I should probably watch it, but...
It's a good movie. It's worth checking out. I can't really... I mean, I could give you the basic outline, but... I thought it was a great movie.
Oh, that's what I heard, though.
It was not something I expected. It was, I think, my wife and I were really sick at the time, and it was on Netflix. So it was like, look, it's just something to have in the background, but it ended up being really enjoyable.
I really should check it out.
I would put it up there. I don't know if you've seen Moana. I think that's an amazing movie. I'd put it up there on that same level of something like it's kind of a modern Disney kids movie type of thing, but it's actually good. And I don't think it's a Pixar movie. I think it's just
no. I think that's just Disney
generic studio.
Because Elio is doing so great now.
Yeah, I didn't even know that it was a movie until people are complaining about how bad it is.
I know, but I read that I was like, first original Pixar movie in a long time. Elio flopping at the box office, but don't worry, we still got many more Toy Story movies to come.
Mm-hmm.
Pixar.
Yeah, Pixar is not what it used to be. You go back to, when did Toy Story come out? Like 96, 1996
30
or
years
something,
ago.
97?
30
Yeah,
years ago this year.
Pixar was like untouchable. Nobody could do what they were doing. And I don't know where they lost their way. I think it started with that, there's a movie called like Outward or something. It's about the two monster rock brothers in the van. That was the first one I saw that really didn't do well. And then that
we was Star-Lord and Spider-Man. Technically.
Yeah, that's true. And then after that was that Italian one with the boy and the mermaid, or the merboy or something.
Oh, I've never seen that movie.
Luca.
Yeah.
And they started doing a lot of like cultural themed movies at the time, and I understand they were hit and miss. There was like Raya and the Last Dragon, which I think was supposed to be some kind of Korean mythology.
That wasn't horrible, though.
I hadn't seen it.
Okay.
It just didn't have the appeal for me. I don't know. I haven't been. I grew up with the '90s classic era Disney animation, so like Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Aladdin. I don't know. Maybe my standards are just a little bit higher for Disney releases.
No, I agree with you. I do want to say, though, to Kevin, who was asking if Zootopia is going to be the highest or is it going to be Avatar. I didn't know there was a new Avatar coming out this year. I know there's a new Tron movie coming out this year. There's going to be the Black Phone 2. I know Mortal Kombat's coming. So there's a lot of movies coming. I think the highest grossing movie of this year, I hate to say this, but let alone with that whole chicken jockey thing, I think Minecraft is probably going to be the highest grossing movie of this year.
Yeah, because that was just at the theaters. Now that it's hitting streaming and everything, they're going to be rolling in that money.
Oh, yeah. And do you
think it probably will end up being the highest grossing. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Probably. Do you think Sony Pictures will keep Spider-Man Brand New Day in 2026? By keep Spider-Man Brand New Day, you mean like, do you think they're going to go ahead and release it in 2026, or do you? I'm not sure exactly what he means by that, but it's slated. I saw on Wikipedia when we were going through the MCUs. Spider-Man Brand New Day is there. It's slated to come out just before Doomsday. So,
well, and the current Sony Spider-Man movies are in a weird place because they're kind of their own thing, but they're also part of the MCU. And when you were just looking at the list, it was listed as on the MCU slate.
Yep.
So it's tying into everything else. It's a Marvel movie. So I feel like they're probably going to keep the timeline on track.
Yeah.
Because again, they've got this stuff slated at least a year in advance, right? Like they're like, okay, first of all, we want to have Captain America: Brave New World come out. And then a couple months later, we're going to drop Ironheart. And then a few weeks after, it was Captain America. Then I don't know if there was a show, and then they dropped Thunderbolts, and then a couple weeks later they're doing Ironheart, and then a few weeks after that, like they've got this stuff mapped out, and I think barring any kind of like writer's strike or anything that prevents them from maybe releasing stuff that's already done, I would assume they're going to keep it going. Recast T'Challa. That's a good question.
I don't think so. I know, Spoonie, you said you didn't watch Wakanda Forever, but if you watch Wakanda Forever, it's 100% clear that T'Challa, sure he's the new Black Panther.
Right? But she was in the comics too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something that I don't understand. People who are like, "Oh, it's a Black Panther's a woman." She was in the comics. I think it was something where like Doctor Doom was trying to steal all the vibranium on Earth.
Yeah.
And in order to stop him, Black Panther had to do something which basically rendered all vibranium on Earth inert. so its unique strong metal properties were no longer there. And because he like completely devalued Wakanda, he was ousted as king and Shuri took over.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
Something like that.
It was in a weird miniseries called like Doom War.
I think what might happen though is if you watched Wakanda Forever, what happens at the end when was it Nakia? She's there and she talks to Shuri and she introduces somebody. So I think that might someday be something. I don't know, but definitely they're not going to recast T'Challa, especially with the significance that Chadwick Boseman had on the role and the significance that Chadwick Boseman had as an impact, you know, on the MCU, but also for as a role model, you know, to African Americans all over the place. So I really don't think they're going to recast T'Challa. I think doing that, it's not like with Thunderbolt Ross where they recast Harrison Ford because they're like, well, I mean, he was in 2 movies, the original actor. We still have a storyline that we want to go through with him. We want to see it through.
Mm-hmm.
It's different because
he was General Ross was always like a supporting character, antagonist in those movies. He wasn't a main character like Chadwick was.
Exactly. So I think to recast Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa will shit all over it. And I think what I heard now, they're not recasting him. There's going to be a new Black Panther, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm kind of annoyed with what they're doing because
the white guy.
Yeah,
Ryan Gosling meme come true.
Black Panther. He's like the secret son in the comic books or something like that. I'm like, what are they doing? Do they even know what Black Panther is or what he signifies? Like,
it's just a stunt casting.
I know, man.
It's like in the 90s when the Punisher turned black so that he could infiltrate a street gang. He did. He had. I don't know if it was tattooed or he went under some pigmentation dye, but he turned his.
Okay, well, we're not talking about going blackface here. That's
no. He turned his skin color black so that him and Luke Cage could infiltrate a street gang and he could shut them down.
Yeah, honestly,
that's almost like in, I think it was the 80s. DC had is this like cold burn or something? This is a villain who gets his powers from doing rails of cocaine. Yeah. Products of their time.
Yeah, exactly. People will accept Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson. It's going to take some time. I mean, look, Anthony Mackie's been Captain America now. When was the show?
2023 or something?
Was it? I thought it was like right in the height of the pandemic. No.
Maybe even older. Yeah, you could be right.
So
I know it's a few years old at this point.
Even if it was 2023, he's been Captain America for a couple of years now, and I mean, I don't disagree with you, Kevin. I think that people do accept him 100% as Captain America. I think there are certain people on the planet who would rather not see Sam Wilson as Captain America. That's just the harsh reality we live in. But Anthony Mackie is a very good actor.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I don't like him as Captain America. I do. I just feel like it's, like we were talking about earlier, he's just the Falcon, but with the Captain America outfit on and the shield. That's really what it is that I see. They could have just taken the Falcon, and instead of calling him Captain America, they could be like, okay, you know what? Captain America's gone. Falcon, you're the new Captain America, but you're still going to be Falcon. Mm-hmm. You're just going to be a higher rank and a higher... Like, we're going to see you more as... I'm trying to find my words. Like, you're going to have more respect put onto you because you are technically taking over the Captain America moniker, but still being the Falcon. You know what I mean? It would still work, I find. That's how I see it. But Anthony Mackie, I think, him too, he's one of those underrated actors. So it's really nice to see him taking on the role of the leader of the Avengers now. So, quote unquote.
At least, he's probably the only person that could lead the team right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
Okay, so we know about the new Avengers, but are the old Avengers still around? Like, who would even be on the team at this point? We
That's
haven't really
the thing.
seen them since Endgame, have we?
Exactly, and so what it seems, Jeremy Renner's not coming back anytime soon, I don't think, as Hawkeye. Unless he's going to be in the Avengers movies, but I mean, let's be honest, Jeremy Renner's only ever been in the Avengers movies, and him is another one. See, if they recast him, I don't think it would matter too much, because he's also a supporting character, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even that Hawkeye show he had on Disney Plus didn't seem to really be too much about him either.
No, it was about Kate Bishop.
There you go.
But the series it's based off of was also kind of about elevating her character. It was the Matt Fraction Hawkeye book. I think one of the best characters was he had a supporting character called Pizza Dog. That was a dog that loved to eat pizza that just kind of followed him around like a stray dog.
That's nice.
But you know, Hawkeye is actually very interesting for being probably now because DC effed over Barbara Gordon Oracle. Hawkeye is probably the biggest superhero with a disability. You know, he's deaf, right?
Yeah.
Like he uses these things to hear. But interesting because I mean, it's not something that's apparent. I think you kind of see the little thing in his ear in the movies if you're looking for it, but they don't. Yeah. But so that's interesting because it's not something you see a lot of. Like I said, I hate DC for reversing that decision. I thought making Barbara Gordon Oracle, I thought that character was so awesome. I thought it was unique, and she served an important role in the hero community as kind of being the person that keeps everybody in the loop and helps keep them in contact.
Yeah.
And I do understand why they kind of reversed it because it like people come back from the dead all the time. You telling me they don't have some magic laser that can fix their spine?
That's it.
And they did that for New 52, and it was written by Gail Simone, and it was actually a really good run. So it's hard to hate on them reversing it, but I still kind of prefer her as Oracle, the Batgirl.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that one.
Especially since I love the Cassandra Cain Batgirl, and especially the Stephanie Brown Batgirl. I love, spoiler, Stephanie Brown, the first female Robin in continuity. Robin, issue number 126 and 127. Unfortunately, the poor writing killed her off almost immediately. And then they brought her back, but they ruined another character to do it. So the whole thing was that she found these, like, Batman had these contingency plans for how to take out every gang in Gotham in one fell swoop. What she didn't understand was that the plan hinged entirely on a character called Matches Malone, who she didn't know was Batman.
Exactly.
So she set up this situation. It got out of control. She ends up getting killed. Now, that was really unpopular story. I think that was called War Games. And then I think the next year they published one called War Crimes, which was like a follow-up. And it revealed that Stephanie Brown was alive. Yay! But her death was faked by Leslie Tompkins. And it completely changed the relationship between Bruce and Leslie. Now, you know, New 52, everything gets rebooted. Everything changes. But it's like, yay, they brought her back. But they simultaneously kind of crapped on one of Batman's oldest allies.
Yeah.
Anyways, do we think Dave Filoni, Carrie Beck will come back, lead Lucasfilm? You know, like I said, I haven't seen much of the Clone Wars stuff, so I'm not super familiar with Dave Filoni. I have heard his name a lot bandied about as being somebody who's like an actual Star Wars fan who works at Star Wars. Like Jon Favreau. I mean, you can tell he cares about this stuff. He's not just like, yeah, let me direct a movie. It's like he likes the character of Iron Man. He enjoys these movies. I think that shows in the work. It's my understanding Dave Filoni is the same. Like, you can tell he really is a Star Wars fan. He's not just somebody for whom this is a job in the industry. So, and Carrie, I don't recognize the name, I'm afraid.
No, me neither.
But, yeah, as far as I know, I think people like Filoni, and it would probably be good to have him as a more active role overseeing the brand. But I mean, time will tell.
I love we were talking about Fantastic Four and Superman. Now we're talking about all this different stuff now. I mean, look, you were talking about how he's a fan. It's like if you and I were to, I don't know, write a Batman comic book, where you would write, I would do the artwork. It's something that you and I would be passionate about, and we would know what we're doing, and because we love the characters so much that it's always better like that when you have somebody who, or somebodies who love the characters, who are passionate about the characters, because you know it's going to be in good hands. So if Dave Filoni really is a Star Wars fan, it could be a good choice to lead Lucasfilm. Sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know anything else he's done for Star Wars. Like, as far as I know, Clone Wars is kind of his claim to fame.
Yeah.
That was a huge show. Went for
which was good too.
Six or 7 years. Apparently, it was a really good show. You could tell that they were cared about crafting like a really good chapter in the Star Wars history and the legacy.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, from what my understanding, Dave Filoni's a fan, and it would be cool to have him on board. Oh, is this his?
Yeah. Oh, it looks like he's directed some Mandalorian. He was also executive producer on those shows.
Book of Boba Fett. That makes sense. 'Cause, like the spin-off. Ahsoka, he did.
He's doing the Skeleton Crew. He's also producing the Mandalorian and Grogu. So I guess he's more of an animator. Like he worked on King of the Hill, Impossible. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Avatar: The Last Air. That show's awesome. I heard they're remaking that, or they're doing a sequel that takes place between that one and the Legend of Korra.
Oh, really? I did. Okay.
Yeah, so this is going to take place, I think they said 10 years after the end of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So the characters are all kind of grown up. They're in their like early 20s now, and I don't remember the storyline. I think I just saw a screenshot or two, and I'm hoping it is going to be good.
I mean, Avatar is a great show. So you know what though, the Netflix show, the live action one, pretty not that bad either. Not like the trash heap of Cowboy Bebop that they did, which still pisses me off these days. I love Cowboy Bebop, but
Are you talking about One Piece?
no, the Avatar: The Last Airbender TV show on Netflix. It's pretty good.
Did they do a TV show?
Yeah, on Netflix. They have a live action one.
Okay, that's familiar now. I remember that abysmal film, and I kind of like the only thing that exists is the cartoon. Nothing else is real.
Yeah.
No, I forgot about that. It must have been that bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I've seen that movie, to be quite honest with you. So, have you seen the McFarlane Toys Superman stuff?
No.
Not interested in that?
No, I just haven't had the opportunity or something. Like I saw the Fantastic Four stuff because of all the it spoils the film or whatever. It potentially reveals important plot points or something. And I kind of agree because that figure we looked at earlier, the one character in there that's not Sue Storm has, as far as I can tell, hasn't really been featured in any of the commercials or marketing. So that could be a surprise if you weren't aware, and I think most people didn't understand what the movie First Steps, what the title actually kind of meant.
That's the thing, is I didn't realize that's what they were going with, to be honest with you.
No, those figures look cool.
Why can't
McFarlane always does an amazing job. I think my favorite thing they've ever done is, and it's all the all the like the heavy metal and the horror stuff that they had put out.
Oh, those are awesome.
Like all the Aussie statues and like just awesome stuff. That was probably my favorite stuff they've put out. Ultraman, really?
Ultraman. What?
So they're going straight into the universe for this one, the multiverse. Then.
What's? Oh no, sorry. We were talking Brightburn before. I said Bizarro. I meant Ultraman.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying Brightburn is the Ultraman origin story. Sorry, that's who I meant. My gosh.
Oh, that could be
I
interesting.
can see it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so this is the Earth 3 version of Superman where everybody's evil. It's the Crime Syndicate of America, not the Justice League of America. And yeah, so you've got Ultraman, who gets stronger by eating kryptonite. You've got it's not Wonder Woman. What's the name of the female character in the Crime Syndicate? Whatever. It's not Wonder Woman.
Talking about, yeah.
It's actually like a evil version of Lois Lane. You've got Owlman, who's the evil Batman. Who's it? Power Ring, who's the evil Green Lantern. And
there was a Flash as well, I think.
Depending on what stories you're reading, Grant Morrison in 2000 established that the characters can only win in their home universe.
Yeah.
So Ultraman can't win in our universe because this is a universe of good. Likewise, if Superman went to that universe, he couldn't win because evil always wins in that universe. So I don't think they're going that route. Otherwise, why would they have Ultraman in it?
Well, that's true.
It's also
really
curious
like
why they're putting him in a full suit, but
yeah. There we go. I really like the Lego DC Supervillains video game because that was the Crime Syndicate were the protagonists of that game. But I know everyone, like when I watch YouTube, all the toy hunters, they're all going crazy over the Superman toy. That's pretty cool.
nice.
What I want to go, I want to show you the Superman toy because, like, I know they're putting out a lot of Superman figures. Come on. Apparently, the McFarlane Toys website is a little laggy right now.
Kite Man, hell yeah.
Yeah, the Chris O'Donnell Robin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's Metamorpho. So look, there's all the characters from the movie. It looks like,
including some weird generic alien thing he fights.
No, what is that supposed to be? And there's more here. Here, I'll show you this one. You seem to be excited about Crypto.
Yeah, they say apparently this is modeled after James Gunn's real dog. What I thought was genius marketing is movies always have tie-ins, right? Like, oh, Happy Meal toys, or go to Burger King, get a collectible cup or whatever. James Gunn did a partnership with this movie and Purina Dog Chow. Hey, crypto's an important part of the family.
Yeah.
You need to feed your dog like he's a super dog. It's a brilliant tie-in. It's not something you would have thought, right? You'd figure,
That's
like, okay,
true.
there's toys and merch and all this other. Like, oh, no. Dog food branded with the new Superman film.
I think it's great marketing. You're right. I think so.
Yeah, think outside the box. Step one, disruption.
Okay. These are all apparently on pre-order now. Is there anything out now? Available now?
Oh my god, you've got those Silver Age Superman heads you can swap out with the lion head or where he's got the giant brain.
I think I saw a review spot reviewed that recently, so...
It's
Well,
weird
there's-
that they, on the end there, Jade. It's weird that they put that out. I didn't think she's that popular a character.
Yeah, I know, right?
An Hour Man. They're either scraping the bottom of the barrel, or they must be doing some kind of poll online where you can vote for, who would you like to see next?
Maybe.
Because
Well, you know what I think it is? Because they're losing the license, I think they're going out with a bang and they're just putting out like random figures,
that makes a lot of sense.
you know?
Well, I've heard that
YouTube, yeah.
whatever the division collections or whatever for Marvel Publishing, apparently they do look at what people are saying on Reddit, what people are saying on Twitter and stuff like that. Is that Icon? Holy shit.
Mhm.
From Milestone.
Yep.
He's part of the Blood Syndicate. And then you got the future John West Flash.
And then you got Tempest right here. I don't know, this figure looks not that great though. Then look, you got the classic animated Superman right there.
Yeah, I got distracted by Icon. What the hell was I saying?
The polls for Marvel?
Oh yeah, apparently they do look at social media when they're choosing what stories to reprint.
Okay.
Like, hey, what stories would you guys want to see as an omnibus, or what's the story that deserves like a prestige, oversized hardcover edition with the cloth bookmark and maybe copies of the script and character sketches and pre-production stuff at the back. Yeah.
Well, there they are. They're all here now. Look, there's the Superman robots.
Is that Kelix or Kelix? No, it just says robot.
There's Mr. Terrific, Ultraman, Battle Damage Ultraman. Okay. There's Lex Luthor. Maybe is that? Do you think that's a spoiler though, Ultraman?
Well, the fact that there's a battle damage Superman right there, and then there's a battle damage Ultraman, I think kind of at least tells us that these two are going to be fighting.
Yep.
But I mean, if you know that there's Superman and the evil Superman, you would expect them to fight. If they were both in a movie and they didn't interact, why?
That's fair.
I find this articulation weird, where they can kind of bend at the torso, like they can bend at the waist, not the hips or whatever.
I've always found that weird.
I
mean,
get it for
you
posing and stuff like that, but on Metamorpho it looked really weird. It looks like he's wearing a weird sweater or something.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, boxing shorts almost.
Ugly Christmas sweater.
How is boxing shorts?
Okay, I hope that's just at the beginning, maybe while he's learning to control his powers.
Now Spoonie's like, oh fuck.
Like the picture on the little card there, that looks good, but on the right he looks fat and out of shape. Got the gym shorts. This is like.
Honestly, though, I'm not gonna lie to you. This, sometimes they make lists of the worst toys of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be surprised if Metamorpho goes on that list, because I mean, look at this thing. It just looks like a blobby mess, man.
I imagine the diehard Metamorpho fans out there, like, finally, our guy's in a movie. We're getting a new toy, the first one since the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. Thank God. And then they see this.
You know your toy is fucked up when your image card looks better than the toy.
Completely different character. It's like the right is like the real version, and the left is like the cosplay version.
Hey McFarlane, it's a shitload of cash. Make our Superman movie toys. Okay,
well,
like I can
you
do
said,
that.
if they are losing the license, maybe they're just trying to churn out as much as possible. Because, I mean, I feel like if they wanted to, McFarlane could have made a really crazy Metamorpho. I mean, if you look at the picture on the right, look at all the texture and the detail. It would probably have to be more of like a premium statue or something like that. But they could make a killer Metamorpho.
And I mean, for Christ's sake, this is minimal. There's no accessories, but this looks better than that.
Yeah. But to be fair, the Dr. Fate is just kind of its own character. This is trying to look specifically like the one from the movie.
Yeah.
And it's trying to capture that exact likeness, I think, is the problem.
You know what bothers me, by the way, about this Dr. Fate figure? Look what it says down here, just above Dr. Fate.
Justice League of America?
Yeah.
I'm sure, in the 80s, when they rebooted the team during the Wahaha era with Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, I think Dr. Fate was on the team.
Well, was that Silver Age?
No, you're
this
right.
Is Silver Age Dr. Fate.
No.
So why does it say Justice League of America and not Justice Society? That's my pet peeve with this toy.
I mean, there was no Justice Society book at the time. The only time we saw them was in the annual crossover in the Justice League book, where they would travel and they would have adventures with, I don't know, what is it, Earth X, where the Nazis won World War II and all kinds of stuff.
But when you think Dr. Fate, yeah, okay, Justice League. But he's more synonymous as being a Justice Society character. It's the same thing with Jay Garrick Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Garrick was a Justice Society member. So I get why they're putting JLA, but Pod should have been like, you know what, as a little nod to the fans, we'll put Justice Society on there. You know what I mean? It's like the Joker figure. He's got the Batman logo up there on him. I'm like, don't you think you could have just put the Joker logo?
Yeah.
You get it. He's part of Batman. You don't need to remind us.
I guess it's a little thing that only people like us will notice. I think that the average person will probably just think, oh, this is a cool figure. Let me pick it up.
Yeah. I gotta show you something, though. Have you seen this Mafex Superman that's circulating? Everyone's like, that does not look like Superman.
No.
Oh, I gotta show you this, man. Step in here. Just trying to find it. I think it's Mafex. Yeah. Well, that's DC Multiverse. Oh, it's SH Figure Arts, not Mafex. My bad. So, this thing is fucking hilarious looking. It looks nothing like the guy playing Superman. I think you. Okay. Okay, just show that. I'll show you this first. Does that look like the guy who plays Superman in the movie?
Slightly, maybe. Maybe in terms of like the complexion, the skin tone. Obviously the hair. Oh, and that's something I wanted to mention. I love that they're doing the little curl on the Superman. The red belt. The red trunks with the yellow belt and the little curl for Superman. This is probably the most comic accurate version of Superman we've seen on film.
Fair enough.
That this figure, does it look like the guy? No. And I don't like this angle that they've chosen. First of all, with how close up, it looks like the Superman thing is like a knitted sweater. I know that's supposed to be like a chainmail, some kind of textured thing. It looks knitted, especially at the arm that's outstretched towards us. It looks like he's got like big cuffs on the sweater. And I'm sorry, I don't like seeing that ball joint on the left side of the image there on his shoulder. I know there's no way to get around it, and if they altered it, people would complain that the toy doesn't look like the image, but...
Now tell me, does it not look like
it's Shooter McGavin. Oh my god. It really is.
I saw this the other day, And I saw like somebody reviewing it on YouTube, and it was like, I eat pieces of SH Figuarts for breakfast. I was like, it's totally Shooter McGavin, bro.
Hey, if I were that guy, I'd pick one up.
Yeah. Man.
You know your next Halloween costume.
Somebody said, I think somebody I read somebody comment saying, "Hey, that's perfect for me to pick up and make an Hour Man custom." Who the hell is referencing superhero movie in 2025? Fucking shitty movie with Drake Bell, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to show you that, man. I got a good laugh at it. I was like, I gotta show Spoonie. Like, I'm laughing so hard.
I was not expecting this. I'm like, he kind of looks like the actor, but not really. No.
It's exactly who he looks like, man.
I do think it looks like he's wearing a knitted sweater, though. That's all I can see.
Oh, yeah.
He's got these, like, bell cuffs there on the end.
And normally the SH Figuarts, this figure here, you know, McFarlane figure is going to cost you, like... A McFarlane figure is going to cost you, like, max $30, 35. These SH Figuarts are going to cost you, like, upwards of $70, $80, man.
Whoa. $70 for Shooter? No, that's too much.
Man, where was SH Figuarts when we were talking about the greedy corporations a few live streams back?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, this definitely looks like Peter McGavin. Hey, shameless plug, I guess, for Happy Gilmore 2 coming up.
I feel like the longer I look at this image, the worse it gets. If you look up in the top right by the SH Figuarts, there's... Who's that flying? Isn't that him? Like, what's going on here? Is Supergirl in the movie? Do we, like... I think they just picked the stock image of the city, not realizing the character was already in it.
Exactly. Hey, this will look good. Yeah.
Do you have any idea where they filmed this one?
The movie?
Yeah. Not that
No,
it matters.
I'm not sure.
You know, like a lot of times, I mean, they'll come up to Canada here because they get great tax breaks. I know BC has been the
well, I don't know if you heard
traditional
about what
one.
Mr. President wants to do, but if he gets his little way, that's not gonna be happening anymore.
That sucks because that's gonna hurt our stuff. But I also know a lot of people film in Australia.
Yeah.
I think they give crazy tax breaks because they want people to come there and spend money. And it's what, like a 23-hour flight to get there. So they must be offering pretty good deals to people who want to film movies there. Just curious.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if you've noticed. I can tell when something's filmed in Canada because you start seeing the same actors over and over again. Little bit roles like the guy who's the bartender, but you start noticing these people like, oh yeah, I saw him on Battlestar Galactica and Stargate SG-1 and X-Files and yeah.
Let's see here.
Oh wow,
Cleveland's. Oh, so it was filmed in the United States. Okay.
That's where it started.
Oh, they also went to Norway.
Yeah, for the Fortress of Solitude stuff. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Oh, Cleveland, Ohio. Isn't that where Jerry Siegel was born?
Was he?
I think that's where they created Superman. Yeah.
I thought they were Canadian. No.
No, I think Joe Shuster was Canadian, but Siegel, I think, is American.
Oh, okay.
Like I said,
Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a nice tribute to him, then.
That's cool. I don't know if that was intentional or just like a happy sort of coincidence.
Huh. Interesting. Mr. Schuster's birthday is July 10th.
Oh, he died in 92? Wow, I didn't realize he lived that long.
I did not know that the creator, one of the co-creator of Superman, shares the same birthday as me. I didn't realize that. I mean, I know the angry video game nerd does. That was like one of the things I was like super happy. Yay, EV Gemini.
Careful, you're giving out too much personal information.
I know. We've dropped down to 0 viewers, and I think we've streamed long enough. I was going to ask you. Now we know that the Fantastic Four has only had one video game. Like, I mean, except for there's the movie video games too. So there's never.
Oh yeah. If you're not counting the movie tie-ins, then yeah, I think it's just that one.
All been shitty, really shitty, as we saw with my gameplay for that game.
Well, you know that the Spider-Man game that came out at that time was amazing.
Was that the one for the N64 and the PlayStation as well, right?
I don't know if it's on N64. It's on PS1.
Yeah, it was kind of like based off of the Spider-Man animated series.
I think so.
Yeah, that one was really good. Oh yeah.
So the Fantastic Four one, unfortunately, couldn't recapture that same success.
Nope. Oh no. But Superman. Any good games that you've ever played of Superman?
Oh, none.
Right?
The only games would feature Superman. Like you'd be talking like Injustice, where Superman's in it, but it's not explicitly a Superman game. Superman 64. If you guys haven't heard of it, please don't look it up. You fly through rings. It's literally all you do, and the controls are terrible. And it looks like you're in pea soup. You can't see anything until the building loads in front of you. Okay, the Superman Returns video game that came out on Xbox and PS2. The boss of the game is a tornado. The first boss in the game is Mongol. Why would Mongol, the Galactic Tyrant, how come he's not the boss of the game? How come the boss of the game is like, oh, this tornado is destroying Metropolis, and you have to fly around it in the opposite direction to neutralize the tornado? That's the boss of the game. Why? It's not as bad as this, though.
You even mentioned Superman for the Superman Doomsday for the Super Nintendo. One of the toughest games ever.
Oh, yeah. You know, I always forget about that one because I always focus on the Justice League Task Force, the fighter that they had.
You know what, though? I have a love-hate relationship. I hate it because it's such a bad game, but I love it because you can kind of tell that when they made Injustice, they're like, we want to make a better version of Task Force.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they did Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Oh, yeah.
And then that worked out. So then they did the first Injustice, and I think that became a surprise hit. Now we got Injustice 2, and I'm sure there'll be a third one at some point. I mean, there's been a bunch of comics that I hear are actually really good. I hear the Injustice years 1 through 5 books are actually really good, and I think they take place after the first Injustice.
Okay.
But then there's like an Injustice Season 2, and that directly sets up the second game, and people have said that one's not as good.
I heard Injustice 2 is not that great. That's what I've heard.
The game is entertaining. I like the game.
Really? I've heard a lot of people say it's not as good as the first Injustice, though, because I've never played Injustice 2. I've only ever wanted to play it because I think it was Hellboy and the Turtles are in it. But I never got around to it.
You're not missing much.
Fair enough. But I love this, though.
But wait, this isn't what you want to see, is it? Nah. I like you a lot. I don't.
Have you ever seen?
You're greeted by a smiling cartoon fox. Tittus? What the fuck is that? Well, the official title of the game is just Superman, but probably because of the Nintendo 64's tradition of putting 64 at the end of so many titles, it's no wonder that it got that reputation. The first thing that bothers me is the stock music. Why not the Superman theme? You know, the John Williams one? Right. Why don't any of these games have that?
Why not the one from the animated series? It's clearly based off of
that too, man. That too.
I don't even have any time to get used to the control. You think that as soon as the game starts, you'd have a little free range, you know, to fly around and explore. But no, you got to fly through rings. and you can't fuck up. If you miss more than, I think, 3, I don't know, sometimes it's 2 and sometimes it's 4, so I'm not
Basically
sure.
what you were talking about before.
If you miss a few of these rings, you go back to the beginning. And you keep trying it over and over until you get it right. And on top
He's
of that,
like,
there's a
solve
time
my
limit.
maze, and it's just a
Being that
series
this
of rings.
is the first part of the game, you'd think that the time limit would be a little lenient, but no.
Yeah.
It gives you just barely enough time to get through all these rings. You got to be perfect. Looks like I'm doing a real shitty job, but the control is awful. You have to be very specific with the joystick, or else Superman takes a dive in the wrong direction. And then when you try to make a sharp turn, he just goes all over the place. You all probably know.
Does it
better
bring
than
back
I.
frustration to you,
Goes without
Spoonie?
saying, but
I
this
never made it
game
this far.
It's horrendous. And you know what the most pathetic thing about it is? This game isn't even 10 years old. Just barely. You think
at that
by
point,
1999 there'd be some kind of quality standard. What? I'm stuck? How the hell am I stuck? I'm underneath the bridge. Looks like Superman stroking
No, this
his
game
super
didn't have
dick.
to be like this.
So naturally,
Nin-
the game gives you a time limit. You're in a hurry. You can't approach
by that
any of these
point,
rings
you've
with
seen
care and
stuff
patience.
like
You
Metal
gotta
Gear
keep moving.
Solid.
If you miss
You've
a ring,
seen,
you have the option
like
to turn
Final
around and
Fantasy
try to get it
7,
again.
all
So there's no strike
the
against
things
you
that
unless you
showed
skip
all
to
the
the next ring. So
N64
basically, you have to go
classic
through all the
3D
rings in order.
platformers,
But
Donkey
if you
Kong,
miss
Mario
one, the time it
64,
takes you to turn your
there
ass
was
around
no
and go
excuse
back
for this
through, you
game.
already wasted too much time. So it's almost the same as just missing the ring. You have to keep flying. If you stop and bullshit around, then you're not going to make the time limit. See, I just fucked around too much, so I might as well just give up and kill myself. You see that building? I'm just going to crash into it. Well, that didn't do a damn thing. You mean you can't die? Well, absolutely not. You're just stuck in limbo until the time
So
runs
what's
out.
the health
The
bar?
only thing worse than an impossibly
know,
bad
man.
game is not even being able to kill yourself. What's with the punching? Do I actually get to punch people somewhere in this shitload fuck of a game? I guess I'll never find out, but why are these punches
Every
so
time we turn
awful?
on AVGN and people are like, oh, let's watch now.
You gotta be kidding me. I'm stuck again? I'm nowhere near the wall. Look how much room.
This
Look
feels
how
like
much room.
it
How
was
can I
part
be
of a
stuck
game
when there's
that they just
so
rushed
much
out before they
room?
filled up. Like, why
15
can
seconds
you?
and I'm
Why is
almost
there
there.
combat
Almost
when there's
there.
no enemies?
Fuck, Mr. Ring.
Yeah.
Come on. Can't even give me one more chance?
The worst part is like a couple
Man,
years
what is
ago,
he doing?
he
Exercises?
revisits the game and he actually,
This is so
he actually played the
ridiculous.
whole
This
thing.
game isn't just bad. It's really bad.
But this
I'm
video
not
is
even
the best
kidding
of the
around.
two.
It's fucking horse shit. Almost there. Less than 10 seconds. Come on. I can just barely make it. Look, there's the last ring. Fuck this bitch can't fart. I can't believe it. There is only one ring left. Oh, this is ass. This is really ass. Oh, look, this time I'm going to do it. It's 4 seconds. Shit. Yeah. No, that didn't count. So finally, when I get past the rings, instructions flash on screen and
Games
go
like
away.
you've never seen.
What did it say? Something about cars? You're not even given enough time to read it.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking
I
about
didn't
it.
even know that was.
Meet Base 44.
There was more to the game. I thought it was just the whole thing.
Oh,
was
it's over
flying through
already?
rings.
What was I supposed
Then
to
there's
do?
no time to waste.
What? I don't even get to try again? I'm back at the fucking rings again? I can't believe I'm playing a Superman game where all you do is fly through rings. At first, I thought this was the training mode. Yeah, you know, like to test
You
your
would think,
accuracy.
right?
Lots of games have that. Remember Star Fox on the Super Nintendo? There's a training mode where you have to fly through rings. But even then, you don't have to go through all the rings. It's about how many you can get through in a row. In the actual game, you're flying around shooting at enemies and dodging obstacles. So what the hell is this shit? You should be fighting bad guys, not testing your flight skills with some of the worst control accuracy ever in a video game. But it actually does have a practice mode. Out of curiosity, I tried it out just to see what it is, and guess what it is? Going through rings. Yeah, what'd you expect?
Without a time
So
limit.
once again, I'm at the next part. The message flashes on the screen for barely a second. Then you have 6 seconds to do whatever. Fuck. Back to the rings again. You know, if I had 2 consecutive chances, I might be able to figure it out. But instead, I'm too surprised when I finally get there to act in 6 seconds and with
This
no
is
time
why-
to read what it's
This
telling
is
me
why
to do.
being able to save
And am I
state
really
and
doing this?
emulation
Is this a
is so
Superman game
critical.
flying through rings?
Uh-huh.
Is that the best they could come up with? That's like if they made a Batman game where all he does is just play hopscotch. Okay, time for the 6-second car stage again. Get off! Get off! Here we go. Got the car. Now what? Oh, the timer reset to 11. That's weird. But what do I do with the car? Okay, so there's another car coming. Can I stop it? oh, this is the shits. This is the shits. Basically, you got to pick up both these cars and throw them before they hit the people. But guess what's after that? More rings. And after that, you got to pick up a police car and carry it to the goal. I'm starting to notice a pattern here. You go through rings, pick up cars, go through rings, and pick up cars. So I get to the goal, and guess what's next? Seriously, I want you to just take
what do you
guess
think?
What comes after this. More rings? Yeah. What kind of game is this? Is this some sort of insanity test? Well, I'm done. I'm sorry, but that's all I can do. This game doesn't even qualify as shit. It's like the equivalent of shit taking a shit. This is unspeakably
I thought maybe we'd see one where you have to pick up a car and then fly through rings.
Suffering
Right.
It's a bunch of fuck, and it doesn't belong
It's
in
a
this
combination
planet.
of all the
Somebody's
skills
gotta
you've
take
learned
care
so
of it.
far.
This is a job for the fucking nerd.
Right to the sun.
Okay.
Yeah, before we ended, I wanted to show you that. Well, honestly, though,
I did not know there was more depth to the game than just flying through rings.
after I'll send you the link. He did the he actually played through the whole game. So apparently, there's more than just rings and cars. Like,
Oh,
you
wow.
actually see-
Exciting.
Yeah, you actually see Lex Luthor, you see Brainiac, but it's even it's still,
Not just on the box art?
not just on the box art. So yeah, I'll send that to you after. All right, time flies when you're enjoying and having fun. It's 4:15 Eastern time.
Yep.
Yes, well, good way to end it on a laughing note, on a shitty. Got to introduce you to something you've never seen before, and I got to laugh at something I love.
Yep.
But all in
Maybe
all,
we can
though,
do a follow-up on this one, maybe in a month or two after the movies have come out. We've had a chance to see them.
yeah,
If you guys watching are interested in that, obviously leave a comment or a thumbs up, whatever.
we're also going to do a second part somewhere down the road. I don't know, maybe October, maybe September. Maybe October, right? Because next month's August, and September we'll come back to this stuff. Maybe October we'll do the paranormal videos again. How much of Angry Video Game Nerd have you watched in your life?
I don't. It's not like a regular thing. If there's a specific game, like I'll watch reviews on specific games, but I don't just kind of watch in general.
Okay. I think it'd be kind of fun for like maybe you and I to show each other some clips that we find hilarious, and maybe some AVGN, maybe some Nostalgia Critic. That'd be kind of fun to like. I mean, we'll discuss what we want to do next time around, but that could be something fun to like kind of watch some stuff that we've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what we did the paranormal. That's always fun to do.
Yeah, I'm down.
Cool. And as always, guys, if you have suggestions, let us know. Like, we can see what we can do on that. So. All right, guys, that's going to be it for us. Again, 2 Geeks Live. We'll be back. Quickly, I'm on vacation, so I'm not going to have any new content for the next couple of weeks. What about you, Spoonie? Anything
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit tricky. When the video comes out, I think people will understand why it's a little bit tricky. But yeah, I'm going to be reviewing that little heat pad thing that I've been wearing on some of the streams, and specifically why I need it / enjoy it, because if there's people out there who deal with some of the same things, this might be helpful for them.
Yeah,
I know if I had known about this thing earlier, I would have liked that. It would have been nice to know.
But it seems like it's working well for you, at least.
Yep.
Well, I can assure you that I'm definitely going to watch the video when you post it. That's for sure.
Of
All right,
course.
guys.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone.
Have a great weekend, and I mean, I guess to those in the United States, yesterday was 4th of July, so have a great weekend or long weekend if you're having it. And we'll see you guys in the next live stream.
All right. Bye.